Is that like start on one, or is that like we're
generally start on one? People can see our faces.
Oh, hi everybody. Hello. I love starting like this. Hi, how's it going? We're back. Hello. It's been some time. Thank you for your patience. We have missed you greatly and each other.
Hello.
So we are back with another episode of Soldiers of the Lich Queen. I will get into my recap momentarily, and by my recap, I mean Lindsay's recap, who was kind enough to write one up for us. And I'll be reading that in just a moment. But in the meantime, Justin, any channel announcements before we get started?
I'm taking over the podcast duties.
Oh, are
you? Not anytime soon, I think. I'm just trying to work that out with Garrett. But going forward, everybody, I'll be in charge of the podcast stuff because Garrett will be moving, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
And I will be taking it over because come campaign 3 after Beneath the Tide ends, I'm going to do my best to keep those up to date on the podcast. So if you want to listen to a D&D campaign, you can do so on the podcast. As well as kind of porting over all of the campaigns that are coming up to the podcast format. So there's like content for you to fill your ear holes with.
Very nice.
And then anything about demystifying DMing.
I'm gonna record that episode today or die trying is what's gonna happen. That is, if you don't hear from me by Wednesday, I died trying to record a podcast episode. Please put something different in my obituary. That's not a good way to go.
No, I'm always paranoid I'm gonna have like a heart attack on stream, and that's it.
I mean, that's like a little.
Now I'm scared of that.
Well, what a morbid way to start the morning.
It's the afternoon, sir.
Maybe where you are.
Correct.
Good morning for me.
Okay, wait. I think we've got majority morning here, so.
I would argue that I'm the most important person on the planet, and it's afternoon here for me.
Thank you, because we're both technically in the same area.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Exactly.
Her location service is on. We need to talk later.
Should we get into this recap?
We should.
Yes.
All right. Lovely recap. Courtesy of Lindsay. Ahem. And okay. So we went and we saw Master Varro, parentheses, is that how you spell it? The answer is yes, end parentheses. He gave Hannah Baby a spell book and some spells. V-Dog also took a look at Drew and Sid's sick, nasty auras and discovered that Drew is being hella followed by multiple people, including possibly a noble from the wintry part of the Fey place. There was also one thread which was copied over on Sid's aura, which suggests that the gift potentially still got tabs on everyone. Ilvum and Drew also saw a big shadowy thing, which is Sid's astral self. Then we went to the bone grinder. Drew was knocked unconscious several times. True. Sid barely survived, parentheses, literally left the dungeon with 3 strength and 1 HP, end parentheses. We got a bunch of gold and some fun loot, which we got identified. One of the items is a necklace that stops people from being scryed, how to spell, and the party gave it to Drew. Hannah Baby bought a janky wand that shoots green lightning and sets trash on fire. Ilvum had a good time telling everyone how they didn't get hurt at all. Drew bought Sid a ring of Protect. They hugged. It was quick, but it happened. Everyone slept and woke up the next morning and decided to hunt down some bandits for V-Slice. So that's what you missed, like, what, a month ago? Something like that?
January 17th.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So like a month and a half ago. It's been some time, everybody, but we are back. We do this. Your best things in life are erratic. I don't know.
If nothing, we're inconsistent.
Yeah, there we go. We're definitely not consistent. Okay, so that's where we're going to start off.
I do have an announcement.
Oh my god, okay.
Another one. Oh my god, I'm sorry.
You're good. Go ahead.
No Shadows over Ravenloft this week. We're taking a week off because we need the full cast there because some big stuff are happening. The party went back in time to steal the Dark Powers in the Amber Temple. Anyways, that's it.
Well, that's cool. All right. I love the epic sound of that, going back in time, steal the Dark Powers in the Amber Temple, and now we're just like, all right, so you all wake up basically hungover after a day of getting your asses kicked in a dungeon underneath the city for profit. Except for Ilvum. Ilvum feels fine.
Oh, what a restful sleep.
I feel fine as well.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It's just Drew and Sid that are
The
feeling
strongest
terrible.
party members are okay.
Excuse you, I'm stronger than Ilwum.
How dare.
Hannibal's buff.
It's true.
Hannibal's jacked.
He
Hannibal
is.
is absolutely shredded.
I saw Hannibal take off his shirt one time. He was shredded. I heard Hannibal has an 8-pack.
Petition to rename Hannibal Hannah Daddy. No, that doesn't feel right.
Hannah
No,
Swole.
it doesn't.
Hannah Swole. I like that.
Hannah Swole. Oh my god. This is what you missed, everybody. Didn't you miss us?
This
Aren't
is
you
the
glad we're
quality
back?
content you asked for.
We're just going to spend the next 3 hours just trying to figure out how to create combinations of Hannibal's name with Swole.
Oh,
No, okay. So, Swole. Oh my god. Hand Swole? Well, that doesn't feel good at all. Okay.
hi, I hate this.
Okay. So you all wake up in your inn suite in the Onyx Cat Cabaret. You all spent the night there, slept and rested after going into the bone grinder, and you have all woken up the next morning feeling much better. All of that magical strength draining is gone, and you have healed from it. You just needed a good night's sleep.
Yes.
Oh, well. Does everyone remember my familiar abacus? The fruit bat? The flying fox?
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Abacus.
Giant fruit bat on your shoulder.
Of course. How could I forget? He's so
Right?
cute.
Yes, and then there's Marlik in my coat.
Also very cute.
So we go kill bandits today? Yes?
Yeah, Sid, are you feeling okay now? Because you looked pretty almost dead yesterday.
I can teach you my workout regime.
I'm feeling all right, thank you.
Okay.
Got some
And
sleep.
Drew,
feel
you almost did die like 3 times. Are you feeling okay?
I am fine. Yes.
Okay. Cool.
If you two die, who's going to stop me and Ilvem from dying?
I mean, I'm not gonna
Let's not think about that right now, please.
better. Agreed.
You're all probably sitting around breakfast at this point. Your usual cart full of food was brought in. It's only been like the distance between times we play makes this very confusing.
Yes.
But it has not been very long since you got here. I think you're still paid up in your room for a couple days at least.
Wunderbar.
Yeah, actually, come to think of it, you're probably approaching that time you've paid up through, but like no one has come to talk to you about that or like mentioned it or like made any notice of you needing to vacate the room at any point. So
Good to know. Cool.
Wunderbar.
Yeah. From what you remember of the bandits, they are a couple days walk out of town to the east in the woods along one of the main trade roads between this nation and the next one eastward within the Arclight Covenant.
Yes.
I have to admit, I'm not like super thrilled about the idea of like camping.
Don't worry, Ilvem. I can conjure us a series of tents to sleep in. Beautiful tents with hanging light fixtures. That's a lie.
Oh.
It's like you can.
I wish I could.
What's so bad about camping?
Nothing. It's a perfect time to get materials for experimentation.
Nature is beautiful.
It's just hard and bumpy.
Yeah.
Do you have a bedroll? Do you have...
Yes, I have a bedroll.
Well,
You're fine.
if we could steal some of these comfy bed materials and just bring them with us in my bag of holding.
That's an amazing idea.
I know, and I immediately run to Hannibal's room and start taking the bed sheets off and the pillows and stuff in my bag of holding.
Elvo immediately runs to my room and then just like walks out carrying everything off of the bed and is like,
The mattresses won't fit, so.
That's okay. I've just got all my sheets and my pillows.
Okay, put some in.
I'm just gonna like, ugh.
Stuffing them into the top. They like get to the top and you just have to like push them in, and then the garage just finally just.
Right.
And then it's
Adding
gone.
that to my equipment. Whoa,
2 beds worth of bedding.
I have a lot of stuff in my bag of holding.
Yeah. No,
Reminder, did we use the gold bars and the fist-sized amethyst?
I don't think so. I think you still have those.
Yes, I do. All right. Cool. Ilvem and Hannibal's bedding.
I think perhaps before we leave, we should notify Mirth that we might be gone for a few days.
Yes, just don't tell him we stole the bedding.
Maybe we can leave like a note.
Dang, we stole the bedding?
No, I have an idea.
That we're leaving.
Oh. I thought you meant about stealing the bedding.
I mean, we can leave a note if he's not here, but I feel
But that
like
way
it'd
he
be
can't
more
like
appropriate.
look at us and be like, "Oh, they're guilty of something."
Yes, true. Let me see something. I might be able to circumvent this whole thing so we can just be on our way and not have those awkward goodbyes, you know? Never mind, I don't have the spell I'm thinking of.
Sid's gonna go find Mirth.
Okay. Yeah. So you go looking. You just leave the suite, go looking around. You eventually make your way back. You into like one of the rooms in the center of the place. Asking around, asking for a couple people. They direct you towards room. Did anyone go with Sid, or is it just Sid?
Nope.
Okay, just Sid. You eventually get to a room that Hannibal would recognize. Yes, I think that Hannibal teleported into like last session. But you have not been here before, and you're told as you're directed over here that it's Mirth's like office study.
Okay. Is it like an open door?
The door is closed currently.
Okay, I'm gonna knock.
Okay. You'll hear Murph's muffled voice from inside. Just go, "Come in."
Okay, I'll go in.
Okay, you go inside and you see it's a very nice, comfortable room. There's a fireplace burning in one corner. There's a very elaborate patterned rug covers most of the floor. A bunch of bookcases, framed portraits on the walls, a very comfortable looking sofa with some like furs and blankets on it. And Mirth is sitting behind his desk. Very wide, dark wood desk with a couple of like, just kind of decorations and baubles on it. There's what looks like a bronze set of pan pipes, like set on a plaque, not a plaque, like on a stand, sitting on one end of his desk. And he's sitting at the other side. Looks like he finishes up a letter. He's like scattering sand on the ink to dry it. And as you come in, just starts like fanning. I was, what can I help you with?
I just wanted to notify you that me and the rest of my group are leaving on a job. We might be gone for a few days.
All right.
Also, I just wanted to double check how long we're paid through for the room.
He nods and he takes the letter and he starts folding it up, and then takes a small little piece of wax and holds it over a candle and starts melting it. He says, in regards to the room, you are, let's say for now, just don't think about it too much, because after what you did for my cousins, I think that some lodging in one of our rooms is the least I could do to repay you.
Well, thank you. That's very generous.
Well, one could also say that what you did was incredibly generous, so it deserves generosity in kind.
We will check back in once we are back, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you as well. I'll stop sending food to your room then.
Perfect.
And then he melts the wax on the letter that he's writing, and he opens up a box he puts a little key, opens up a little box, and takes out which you would recognize as like a wax stamp for sealing letters. But he takes it and he stamps it on the wax, and as he does, you can see like this little almost like arcing blue electricity just kind of like scatter off of it, and then just like almost like oil on a hot pan or water on a hot pan just like skips across the surface until it gets to the edges, and then there's just like a zzz, and then the letter just vanishes.
That's an interesting trick. Can't say I've seen that before.
Well, the university produces all sorts of wonders.
You attended the university?
No, but I know some folks who did.
Interesting. All right, well, I'll leave you to your business, and thank you again.
Of course. And again, thank you for everything you've done so far.
It's no trouble at all. And Sid will leave and close the door behind him.
Okay.
And go back up to the room.
All right. Everybody is finishing stuffing bedding into a bag of holding.
Actually, Drew is stuffing bread into her bag, not the bag of holding. So
Breadsticks in the purse.
I gotta go.
Sorry, I have to go.
Would you say that bag is now a bag of baguettes?
I do.
Put those words back in your
She's
mouth.
stuffing it.
So I hope these stone giant toenails don't get into the bedding.
Fine.
I think you would know that, like, in a bag of
Yeah.
holding, like, the extradimensional space is, like, not packed up next to each other, so things just kind of, like, stay separate.
I was trying to make a joke and make someone scared of toenails.
Are we ready?
I'm always ready.
And yeah, I'm ready.
Right.
Upwards
So y'all heading out?
and onwards.
Okay. All right, so you head out of the Onyx Cat Cabaret, where you have been staying for the past several days now.
Oh, wait, 1 second. I forgot something. Wait here. I'm gonna dash back into the place and go find Mirth.
Okay, you can go find Mert's office, just like Sid did. Find the door
Yeah.
closed again.
I'm gonna do the knock, but I'm not gonna wait to like be invited. And like it's gonna
Knock
be
and
like
walk in.
knocking as I'm opening the door type thing.
Okay.
He's like, hi.
Okay. Yeah, you see Mirtha's standing up by the fireplace at this point with some papers in hand, and you can see that from like over his shoulder, you can just see that it looks like sheet music. And you just can see he was just like humming to himself as he reads through it and says, "Oh, hello.
You look very stoic that way.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
What can I do for you?"
So I know Sid told you we're like leaving for a couple days. So if anybody from like, stops by, just like let them know that I'll be back in a couple days, I guess.
All right. Yes, I think I mentioned I heard back from them, so someone should be arriving sometime relatively soon, next few days, within the week, I would assume.
Oh, it's so stressful. All right, well, I'm gonna just go brutalize these bandits as quickly as possible then, I guess, huh?
All right. Well, have fun.
All right. And that was very lovely humming. You have a great ear.
Oh, well, thank you. Just looking over some new music pieces for the cabaret. Just for the dinner time orchestra.
Of course.
Yes.
Okay. Bye. Thank you.
Have a lovely day. Good luck with your bandits.
And then I'm gonna it's very much like a flurry of like moving like much too quickly and excitedly, the door gets kind of slammed, but only because I'm moving so quickly and I'm like so excited to like get going.
Yep.
I'm back.
Oh, I'm just so excited to get out of the city for a while.
I don't know. I like the city.
Same. I don't really. I hate it here.
You have made that abundantly clear so far.
This is the city where our family abandoned us.
Well, no.
Mhm.
What?
Yep. You're right. Let's go.
Wait, I'm sorry. Are we just gonna gloss over that?
Yes.
What do you want to know about it?
Walk and talk.
I mean, I feel like there's a lot to unpack about that statement.
There probably is.
Our sister Aja attacked one of the handlers, and they left.
And we don't know if Reggie ever made it here or not. So
Who?
And
No, I'm just
when you
kidding.
say family, do you mean family as in family like me and Ilvum family, or family?
I would assume probably the
there a
rest of their
difference?
squad.
Yeah. Like, so,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
You know how we're all test tube experiments? Essentially? Like that.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry that happened.
That's life. You know, it's full of hurt and pain and treachery.
Yeah, I mean, literally everybody we know was brutally murdered like a week ago. So we get it.
Maybe for us too. Maybe our enclave is gone too.
I wouldn't doubt it.
That's a shame. I stole materials from that person I found in the jungle.
What?
Remember? I cut off someone's, never mind, earlobe?
I forgot about that.
I may have blocked that from my memory.
I find
God,
blocking things from your memory is the best course to live a good life.
This
Are
is
all
the
of you
good life. I want a
okay?
different one.
I really like putting honey on my bread.
Oh, I like putting jellied eels first, and then a layer of cheese.
Drew's just gonna start walking. Just
Okay.
east.
I mean, I'm assuming you guys have been walking
Yeah.
this whole, like walking
Yeah,
and
She's
talking.
speeding
Aaron
up.
Sorkin
She's
walk and talk.
speeding up.
Okay.
For the direction that we're headed in,
Mm-hmm.
are we at all going by or near the embassy place? The one.
No, the embassy is west of you in the city.
Okay, so completely opposite direction.
Yeah.
All right.
This would
Are
be.
Are we coming through that like main thoroughfare that like we came into the city in?
Yeah. So the path you'd be taking is basically you would head south until you got to that main road that runs along the river, and then following that through the like Riverside district, and then out into the main like marketplace district, Silvergate, where Hannibal and Drusilla's original inn was that they are no longer welcome at.
Oh yeah.
And
Correction,
then
Hannibal's no longer welcome.
that is true.
Is there anybody on this thoroughfare that's like interesting looking?
Yeah, like shaggy minotaurs.
Yeah, like a shaggy yak minotaur.
Nope. Sorry.
Yeah!
Rolled for it.
Oh, there goes my backup character. They're dead.
So yeah, you walk along. You do come through the marketplace district, Silvergate, where you and the main thoroughfare, like right inside the gate, where there were several shops, is where Hannibal got his hat, and you all got a couple different things. You got let's see, Sid got his coat fixed, and all that kind of just like basic shops where you did your shopping that one time is on this main route out of town. If anyone needs anything before you leave the city.
Oh wait, can we go back to that that gnome armor shop? The armor shop with the gnome lady whose name I can't remember because I'm nothing if not a ditz.
Is that
Sure.
is that in this direction?
That's it's in the same area you got your hat.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
But also let me double check what kind of armor I want to buy.
Ifriti chain.
Okay, so you head over in that direction by the open market or by the shops on the way out of town. You pass by First Impressions, the hat store, Hunter's Friend Leatherworking, where Rill, the leather worker, worked, and then you come over to Second Skin Armory, which is the armory owned by Elsis the gnome that Ilvem spoke to.
Okay, great. I remember what kind of armor I wanted to buy.
All right, so you head on in.
Yes.
Okay, so you head inside, and again, it's kind of like it's a long, narrow room with 2 floors, and it kind of like curves at the back end, and it's lined with alcoves, and all along is basically a rail for like one of those library ladders. And as you come in, you see Elsis on it, and if you remember, it has like a small like mechanism that basically like motors it along the rail, so she can like make her way along from wall to wall and work on the various suits of armor and pieces in the alcoves. As you come in, she's like zooming around from one end all the way around to the other, and then stops as she comes over to a workstation where she like swings around to the underside of the ladder and just starts piecing together links of chainmail. And then she looks over and just goes, "Oh, hello.
Hi
I remember
again.
you.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
I had a question.
Yeah. How can I help you?"
So I really want a breastplate.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I want. Would you be willing to sell me one for 275 gold pieces and a fist-sized amethyst?
She's like, she heard the number, and you could like see on her face that she then wanted to say no, but then like the fist-sized amethyst catches her attention. She's like, well, let me see that. Let me see the amethyst. Whose fist?
It's in the bag of holding, I think.
Can I have it, please?
Yes. Here you go.
Thank you. Here it is.
All right. Yeah, she climbs back around the ladder and just kind of sits down on the rungs. The ladder is like at a slight angle, so she can like sit on it. And she sits down. She like reaches into her apron. She's got like this series of tool belts and this apron on that just got a lot of pockets and things like strapped and buckled to it. She takes out like a jeweler's eyepiece and sticks it in, and just starts looking at the amethyst. Very nice, very nice. You said this in 275 gold pieces.
Yes.
How much did I say the amethyst was worth?
400 gold.
400.
For a breastplate?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
She like starts. She's about to be like, yeah, but then you could see like her conscience get the better of her, and she's like,
I am very sweet and innocent looking.
mm-hmm. She's like, this by itself would do it.
Really?
Yeah, this is enough. This is enough. So, just a breastplate, you said?
Yes, please.
All right, let's get you fitted. Come on over. She like points over to an empty alcove. Where last time I think you saw someone getting fitted for armor. Stand over there. I'll go grab something.
Cool.
And she like makes her way over the ladder over, and then climbs up onto the second floor, and you can hear like light clanking and rummaging noises from up above. And then as you go over and stand over there, she comes back down the ladder with what looks like a breastplate. Like the 2 halves, like just attached at the top, just slung over her shoulder. She climbs down and then whirs the ladder over to you. And then she's like, she like has part of her gear is like a harness that she like clips on to the underside of the ladder, so she can basically stand like hanging from the underside like this, like sticking straight out. And then she's like, all right, stick your arms out. Let's just get this on you here. Just buckle this, attach that, and just, she starts putting it on you, and she starts like adjusting straps and buckles and things like where it goes on you. There's a couple places where it's bent outward a little too much, and she takes out like a piece of chalk and starts marking on the metal, and then takes out a pair of like heavy shears and is like cutting some of the straps so that they are the right length, and then takes it off of you again, takes it upstairs, and you hear just a rapid series of just clang, 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 just rapid hammering noises. And when she comes back down, you can see that the places where it was like flared out a little bit too much have been bent into shape to fit you better. And then she's like, all right, final fitting. Let's go. Arms up. She drapes it over you. She goes through the process just like in case, like since it's her armor, she just goes through. All right, you tighten this one first, then you attach this. You don't want to do this one before that one. You pull this one nice and tight. If this one's not tight, it's going to rub right here, and it's going to be very uncomfortable. And then she goes through the process, and then you have this shiny new breastplate, and you can turn around. There's a mirror behind you. You can see it's very basic, no decoration or anything on it. Just solid, pretty solid, smooth metal, dull gray.
I'm so happy.
All right, well, lovely doing business with you.
It was so nice seeing you again.
You as well. Oh, you asked me about a job
Yes.
last time you were here. Are you heading out of the city?
We are.
All right. Well, I suppose if you're heading out, I'm always on lookout for interesting materials. I'm always on lookout for anything exotic, any kind of metals, materials. If you're going out, you seem like the adventuring type. So certain monster hides make good leather, make good solid materials for armor making. So if you find anything like that on your travels, I would be interested. I could purchase them from you.
I will definitely keep my eye out.
All right. I appreciate that. And hopefully, and she leans down, just clang, clang. Hopefully this keeps you alive until you come
Yeah,
back.
fingers crossed.
All right. Well, and she pulls out the amethyst and tosses it up in the air, nods. Pleasure doing business with you.
Okay, bye.
Don't die. Okay.
What a
You
sweet
can
lady.
head out with your breastplate.
Just so Sam knows, during the long rest, I took an infusion of my light hammer and put a enhanced armor infusion on my studded leather.
Okay.
So my armor, I had +1 to my armor now.
All right. All right. And with that, you all can head through the city gate, unless anything else they want to do in the city.
I have a little bit of shopping.
Okay. All right.
I'm looking for calligrapher's tools / supplies.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also looking for some wire or thread and some bells.
Okay. Yeah, you can easily find all of that in the section known as the open markets, which is basically just this big open square just lined with stalls. And it takes a while, while Ilvim is getting fitted and everything, you can go out into there and just kind of wander around the stalls, ask around, and you can find all of these things from various stalls and merchants that have brought their goods in from out of the city.
Sid.
Baller.
I can make you the tools you are looking for. I just need an hour. So that way you don't spend any money?
You can just make them.
Yeah, I just use my my artisan's tools. I need and they'll appear magically in an unoccupied space.
Can you do only one of those at a time?
Yep.
Okay.
So my previous whatever I had
with thieves' tools.
Yeah, my thieves' tools would disappear.
Mm-hmm.
So that is fine.
I think I'm okay putting a little bit of money down for this.
Okay.
Thank you, though. I appreciate it.
Okay.
So, how much for those supplies?
Let me check. Calligrapher's tools, you said?
Yeah.
Good question. Hang on. Let's. Calligrapher's
Also, if
supplies.
I could find some playing cards, that'd be rad.
Okay, calligrapher's supplies are 10 gold.
Okay.
Any particular material for the wire or thread?
No, I'm looking for something super basic. I'm basically trying to get supplies to possibly set up a tripwire around our camp.
Oh, okay. So tiny little bells?
Yes.
Okay. I'll say that you can get. Are you trying to do one tripwire? How much tripwire are you looking to be able to make? All the way around it?
Maybe not all the way around it. Enough to at least cover one side of the camp.
Okay. So a spool. I mean, the thread is less the issue. You're going to be able to find a spool of thread or wire or something fairly easily. Wire would probably. You would know that wire would be a bit more expensive, but be more reusable. because like it wouldn't, it just like the elements wouldn't get to it.
Yeah.
And it'd be a little bit stiffer, so like the wind wouldn't necessarily rustle it as much. Whereas thread would just be a lot cheaper for more. And then, but they're both pretty cheap. And then the bells would be the more expensive thing, just because there's a little bit of craftsmanship to them. Unless are you thinking like, if you get very, 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 very basic like sleigh bell type bells, like this little ball with the dangly bit inside, then those are, you can just get that. So if you're looking for just like the cheapest option here, you could probably get all of this for like 5 gold pieces.
Okay, yeah, we'll go cheap for now.
Okay.
So I'll do the 5 gold, and then how much would just like a really basic set of playing cards run?
That's right. Cards. Let me see. That one is. Half a gold piece, 5 silver.
Baller. Okay.
Those are, you can find a cheap set of those. There are more expensive ones you can find that are like, there's more artistry in the hand painted quality of each of them, but just for a very, very, very basic set that like, you see like at that stall, you see like, sailors coming in and just like buying multiple of them at once just to like, keep them entertained on their next voyage, or like getting multiple sets just in case they get wet.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just go basic.
Okay. Wait,
Okay.
anybody else need to do shopping?
Nope.
No.
All right. Then in that case, now you can exit the city and head out onto the road. You can see the sloping hills out around the city of Pyre. You can see a good number of farming villages and communities spread out around you. Lots and lots of farmland, almost like in a belt around Pyre, close to the coast, feeding and supplying the city.
Excellent.
And you are aware that it's going to be a good ways off. I think Hannibal is the one that got the map, the detailed information about where this place is.
Yep.
So yeah, that is the direction you're headed in.
So I think we go this way, and then this way, and then that way.
I trust you.
Well, that's a first for anyone.
I'm gonna walk up to Sid and be like, "Hey, would you mind like just like holding my hand for a bit?"
Okay.
Thanks.
Sid's gonna hold Ilvum's hand. It's very stiff. It's uncomfortable, but eventually he relaxes into it.
There's like a definite pep in Ilvum's step now.
All right.
That's it.
So walking along this very wide dirt road that like Hannibal, based on the maps you're looking at, like or looked at, basically runs the full length of the Arclight Covenant, which is Arclight Covenant being 4 nations all united together under the Church of the Silver Flame into a kind of like union of 4 nations. You're not in the farthest. Pyre isn't in the farthest west one, so you're like 3rd to farthest west. Kind of curves up into a nation of Tabaxi, further up into the west. But you are heading in the direction of the nation, close to the nation of Iolith, near the border, not exactly like on it or anything. You're not crossing over into a new country.
All right.
And Hannibal, through your studies and reading, you would be aware that Iolith is the nation where the original 7 schools of magic were.
Ooh.
Like when people refer to the school of necromancy, they're referring to a specific like campus on this nation. Actually, the idea of splitting up magic into these different categories and specializations for arcane spellcasters is kind of an artificial decision. It's not necessarily like there are certain like arcane markers and things like that, but choosing to study them as completely separate like this was originated from this country and their original schools of magic.
Oh, I want to go there so bad, you guys.
You're also aware that some of them are no longer in operation.
Okay.
One of them was in fact destroyed in the creation of the spell plague.
That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone, I don't know how long this little trek is going to take us, so does anyone have any traveling music they can play?
8 schools of magic, not 7. I miscounted.
Yes, I do.
Bagpipes,
Not bagpipes though.
drums.
Just the flute.
Alright.
Alright, I'll release Sid's hand to play us a little marching ditty.
Hopefully
Okay.
the bandits don't hear us coming.
You're gonna hang back.
Okay. You're a ways off from the bandits. Like, you are not anywhere near them at this point. So yeah, you just like walking along the road. At this point, you can figure you can be pretty relaxed. You are still pretty close to a very developed city in one of the most highly trafficked roads in this like region, not even just this country, like this entire region that leads to one of the largest cities in the world. So for the current moment, as long as you're on this road, it's gonna be uneventful. It should be. There's not a lot of there is a lot of traffic. Like as you're walking along, you can see people coming in from side roads, either usually going in the opposite direction of you. Occasionally, there's people ahead of or behind you that are going in the same direction of you, but usually they part off on one of the smaller side roads that leads to various villages and farming communities that dot the landscape.
Any wagons?
Yeah, generally more carts than wagons at this point.
Hey!
You're seeing.
Hello?
Hey, what?
How much would it cost me personally for you to take us in your wagon somewhere?
Where are you trying to go?
Where am I trying to go? I don't have it in my notes.
You're probably from looking at the map, you would know that it's there's a name. Actually looking at the map, it's kind of the middle of nowhere, so like you would be able to kind of like describe them basically just like a day's ride or a day and a half's ride that way.
I just point on the map. Right there.
Yeah. Oh, that's a lot farther than I'm planning on going. I'm heading back home just a couple miles up the road here. I can take you that far, but no farther than that.
No, it's fine.
All right.
Thank you anyway.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Well,
gang.
Best of luck to you.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Okay, Elvram, you can continue playing your flute.
Okay.
And keep going.
Okay. All right. So you're walking along. It's taking it's a again pretty uneventful walk at this point. And eventually, as you go for walking all day, the sun starts to set. And start to figure you probably want to get looking at camping. By this point, as you've gotten this far, the villages and farming communities and towns around you have gotten more and more spread out, and you see a lot more just like open, open fields and woods around you, and it's a lot less developed and a lot more wild territory. So the further you go, the more comfortable Drusilla gets.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So I think we should set up camp, you guys. It's getting pretty. It might get dark soon. I don't think we should set up camp in the middle of a field. Exposed and all that. I think we might have to go into one of these woods and kind of find a place to hunker down for the night.
That's my specialty.
Yeah.
And I have our bedding, Elvram, in a bag of holding.
I'm so happy.
Everybody else can sleep on their shitty bedrolls.
I'm gonna grab Sid's hand again. But this time without asking for it.
Sid's just gonna be like, okay.
Drusilla, don't hold my hand.
I wasn't planning on it.
Good.
Drew, if you wouldn't mind leading the charge on finding a place to sleep.
Or just gonna go right into the woods and try and find a place where the precious babies can put down their bedding.
All right. Make me a survival check with advantage, please. Or nature, either one. Survival or nature.
Which one's the better one? We're gonna go survival.
Okay.
19 plus 6. That is math.
Nice. Yeah, so
That
Drusilla
is
just goes.
math.
Drusilla goes into the woods and is like, you like look around, sniff the air, pick a leaf from the tree and feel it, like listen to the sound it makes as you rub your fingers against it. Like kneel down, stick your finger in the dirt, and then like taste it and like think for a second. Just like go full on like
Feral. She's going full feral.
And
What's she doing?
I don't know.
And Drew like leads you through the woods, and eventually you come to a lovely little spot. You hear just the sound of running water, gently, very quiet, gently running water. And you come to a spot that's like nestled up in like a sheltered alcove of stone, just on the other side of a very small babbling creek. Just enough that it looks like clean water. Like as you're approaching, Drusilla, you would notice like several deer drinking from the water before you arrive that like run off before anyone else can see them. But it's like you spot them ahead. But that tells you like you get a sense that like this is very clean, fresh water. The spot itself with the alcove is very well sheltered, and it is out of the way and otherwise difficult to find.
I'm just gonna present it.
Wow!
Arm flourish.
It's beautiful.
And the ground inside the alcove is also like lined with soft, squishy moss.
Nope. Here we go, Elflam, and I pull out our bedding.
Ugh, thanks, Hannibal.
Okay. I will sleep over here by myself.
I'll take first watch.
Okay.
I'll take second one.
Drusilla, do you mind looking after Moloch for a few minutes?
I would love nothing more.
Pull him out of my coat and hand him to her. I can't wait till he grows up and kills so many things. I am going to go looking for something to hunt.
He's just holding him like a baby.
Hannibal is going hunting for food.
Ooh, nice. Okay. What in particular are you hunting for?
Deer.
Okay. Make me a survival check to find one.
Oh. Yeah, that makes sense. I was hoping I could speak to one and tell it to come to my campsite.
No, you got to find it first.
Survival, you say?
Yep.
With a -1?
Well, yeah.
Use my dice tower.
Roll that nat 20.
You know, I hate how consistent I am with Hannibal's rolls. That's a 6.
You need to cleanse your dice, fam.
Hannibal spends a good amount of time just kind of like wandering around the woods, like following sounds, looking at what he thinks are deer tracks, but ultimately like
I follow them.
Yeah, you follow them and realize like that if they were deer tracks, they're very, very, very old, and eventually you just lose them. You don't quite manage to completely lose your campsite, but it does take you, like, you get to a point where you're concerned that you're not going to be able to find your way back. And that's the point when you kind of have to, turn around and return back to the camp so that you don't completely get lost.
How long did you say that would have taken?
Probably, like, by the time you realized that you were getting lost and needed to find your way back, like 2 hours.
Excellent. Hello, everyone. I'm back.
Hi. How was it?
Just trying to feed Moloch some bread.
I was trying to hunt a deer, and I couldn't find one. So, if I hear any sounds, I'm killing whatever animal it is and eating it.
Do you not have rations?
Me?
Yeah, do you want just one of my rations?
Surprisingly, I do not have rations.
Tim's gonna give.
Oh no, I have rations. What am I talking about? And he will unhappily eat some rations.
Okay.
Tastes like nothing.
We'll slide up and just be like, "Do you want me to go get you a deer?"
I was gonna use firebolt on one and cook it at the same time. Can you lure one to his campsite for me?
If that's really what you want to do.
Well, all of us need to eat.
I'm happy
All
with
of
my
us have food.
rations.
Fine, I guess I'll eat these rations, and Malik will also have some rations. Malik,
Mike's eating bread right now. If you'll take it.
Like 2 heads are like pulling and tugging at it.
Abacus, go look for a rabbit. And
Takes off into the air.
I can look through my familiar's eyes, right?
Yeah, within a certain distance.
All right.
Should be listed in the spell.
Yep, I look at find familiar right now. I'm just looking at the distance. 100 feet. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So just circle 100 feet. Look for a rabbit, please, Abacus.
Okay. Can you make a perception check for Abacus?
He is a bat.
Mm-hmm.
He might echolocate a rabbit.
Maybe. What do bats? What's a bat's?
Keen hearing.
Well, I'll count it.
Fuck
So we can roll with
yeah.
advantage.
Perception. That is wisdom. Natural 20 with advantage.
Wow. Okay.
Ooh.
I rolled a 4
So-
and a natural 20.
Yeah, Abacus is like flying around. It's nighttime. It's dark, but just like rabbit, right there.
Just like rabbit.
It's like 20 feet to your right, basically.
Firebolt, 20 feet to my right. Just
Okay. Are you just like immediately based on like what you're seeing through Abacus's eyes?
yeah,
Okay, maybe the attack roll with disadvantage.
I figured. Why not? Okay. I got a 16 and another natural 20, so 16 plus 4. So 20.
Okay, so Hannibal just like sends it. It takes like 5 seconds for Abacus to find
amazing.
the rabbit. So it's like Hannibal's like sends Abacus up into the air and just like stares up into space, like not looking at anything in particular, and then just like holds up his hand, mutters an incantation, points it blindly to his right, and just shoots off a firebolt, and like it slams into some bushes. Then just like inside, like there's like a flash of light as it hits something. You just hear like a
2 fire damage.
I think that kills a rabbit with 1 HP.
Yeah. I get up.
Mm-hmm.
Abacus, come back to
There's
my
like a
shoulder.
slight crackling, smoldering sound and the smell of burning hair.
I'll tell Abacus to come back.
Okay.
And I wander over to the bushes and pick up the charred rabbit.
Yeah, you like pull him aside, and you can just
I did it! Everyone look, and I shake the rabbit around. You have Abacus to thank for dinner.
I ate all my rations already. I'm full.
And I start... I don't even clean the rabbit. I'm just gonna like cut off one of the legs or break off one of the legs
Mm-hmm.
and give it to Moloch.
The two of them just start like gnawing on it. As you pull the leg off, you realize it's not cooked. Like it just got like flash burned on the outside,
That's
but it's
fine.
not cooked through.
That's fine.
Yeah. Moloch can eat. Moloch might be immune to disease, actually.
I check. Moloch, death dog. Nope, doesn't say anything about being immune to disease.
Okay, I know their mouths like are riddled
Oh.
with diseases,
They are.
but like that takes a while to happen. Moloch has not reached that point yet.
I will just continue to try to cook the rabbit with fire bolts. Just
Okay, just
yeah, that's what I'm
Okay.
doing.
okay. You're sitting there. You're having a hard time because it seems like because it's such a hot immediate fire, like it's getting burned on the outside but not cooked on the inside.
Man,
At some point, Sid's gonna be like, oh, okay. If this is really what we're doing, let's at least build a fire. And Sid's gonna start getting everything together to have a small fire.
Okay, gather some firewood and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
how are we going to
Light
start?
that fire.
Okay. Firebolt.
Yeah, you can start. Yeah, you can put together enough like fuel and stuff around and like tinder to so that a firebolt will light the small stuff and then it'll crackle into life and start burning and illuminate this area with a nice little campfire.
Sorry, I'm having too much fun with this.
All right. Drew, do you know how to clean a rabbit?
Oh, I don't care if it's not cleaned or not.
I care.
Yes,
Do you
I
know how to
do.
clean a rabbit? Thank you. Would you
Yes,
mind?
Of course. Does she really have a knife on her? That's a good question.
Yeah,
Drew doesn't have a knife.
Need a dagger?
I have a sickle.
She'll take the dagger.
No.
Otherwise, she'd be cleaning this with a boomerang.
Whoa. All right. So Drusilla takes the dagger and goes about like skinning and cleaning the rabbit. It's one of those very practiced motions where like Drusilla, you could tell, has done this many a time. Like takes like a bootlace or something and like strings up the legs and then like bleeds it out and then gets it, and then there's the moment that like may make some of you look at Drusilla differently for the first time is Drew makes just like a slight incision and then just like basically just like pulls all the skin off in just one motion.
This is bringing me back memories to culinary school where we got to break down a pig.
Yeah, just pulls all the skin off and just one yank. It's a little awkward because of how burned it is, but like with your practice in your previous life, like you manage it. And then you've got again, it's a little cooked, but not quite. But you think it can be salvaged.
Drusilla, that was fascinating.
Present the rabbit, just like, here you go.
You must teach me to skin things.
Sid's gonna get a nearby stick, skewer it, and start cooking it.
Okay. Yeah, you just start rotating it over the fire. Basically, you probably found if you were looking for them, like some Y-shaped branches that you could like stick into the ground and then create like a little rotisserie.
Rotisserie rabbit, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. You sit there slowly rotating over the fire until eventually it's just like dripping fat and juices into the fire, and you can hear just like the. Tss, tss, tss,
Does any one of you have the spell Prestidigitation to at least make it taste not plain?
Yeah. I usually just do it to clean myself up. But I can do that.
Okay, make it taste like whatever you desire, I guess.
Cool. I'm gonna make it taste like pomegranate juice.
All right.
So weird.
You have rotisserie cooked rabbit that tastes like it was marinated in pomegranate juice.
I mean, like a pomegranate glaze over top?
Yeah.
Actually sounds kind of good.
Mm-hmm. The Mimics Monstrosities recipe book coming soon.
Don't joke. I actually have a few recipes.
Wild game.
Please.
Wild game does go good with fruits and berries.
This is
D&D.
very weird for Drew. Like she's the
D&D inspired cookbook. Let's publish it.
Hell yeah.
Put that on the list. Okay.
Well, no.
Sid's gonna start tearing off pieces and handing them off.
Okay. Yeah, you pick the rabbit clean, have a very delicious dinner of pomegranate flavored rabbit. The fire starts burning down. It's getting late.
Well,
so Ilvam, you said that you'll take first watch.
Yeah.
I can
Okay. How many watches do we need to get through the night?
Well, I can commit to 2 hours worth of watching.
2, 4, 6, 8.
I can commit to 4 if really need.
I can commit to 2.
Sid, why don't you take tonight off then?
Technically, Sid and Drusilla can watch the entire night.
No, I
Yeah.
can't.
Can you not?
No.
Okay. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah, Drusilla can, I believe.
Also, when it's my watch, I can use Abacus to help out.
That's true. Abacus is nocturnal.
Okay,
So
so
we're-
I'll wake.
So we're doing the 3 watches?
Yeah, I'll wake Hannibal up, and then Hannibal can wake Drew up.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Okay.
Does
Sid's
Sid set
gonna...
up?
Yes.
Yeah,
I was
okay.
just about to say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So Sid goes up and starts like stringing up bells on some string and just like tying it off from like tree to tree to tree. It's pretty easy because you've got like a rock on one side and the creek on the other. You can probably cover the two like avenues of approach pretty easily and make it so
Awesome.
that if something were to come towards you, that would take care of that.
Awesome.
Okay.
Cool.
So you head to bed then?
Yeah, Sid's gonna set up his bedroll and stuff in the alcove. Gonna kind of well, no, yeah, Sid's just gonna go to bed.
Okay.
I'm gonna play a quiet lullaby for everybody.
Okay.
Cute.
I set up my bedding from the bag of holding.
Okay. Drusilla, just on the ground.
Is there a low-hanging tree branch that she can sit on and
yeah.
meditate?
Yeah.
And she'll go into the tree, up into
Okay.
the tree.
All right. All right. Who's on first watch? Is it Ilvam?
I am.
All right, Ilvam, I would like a perception check.
I'm gonna
please.
cast
Oh.
Enhance Ability Owl's Wisdom
Okay, roll that with advantage then.
via my lullaby. Natural 20.
Nice.
Wow, okay.
Ooh, spicy.
Ilvam, you're sitting there, and as you finish the lullaby, and it gets very, very quiet, and you know just like the distinct difference in sound between like any amount of music and just the dead quiet of night. There's there's a little like slight chirping of insects, that general background noise, the running of the water, occasional distant rustling in the woods of just wildlife and animals and the wind going through the trees, but very, 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 very faintly at a distance, closer in the direction of the road, you can hear just like the barest hint of voices, voices and language and movement. You can hear what sound, the slight sounds of animals, probably horses or something similar. A little bit of metal on metal, not like a lot, but just the slight sound of like almost like a jangling sound, probably of some kind of harness or something. A little bit of creaking of wood, probably some kind of wagons. And you hear this at a distance, a good distance away from you. It doesn't seem like it's getting closer. It's just like at much closer to the road than you are currently.
Okay.
And then other than that, throughout your watch, there's nothing eventful near your camp.
Cool.
Yeah. So that is basically, and eventually as you listen to that, it quiets down, and then eventually that quiets down and becomes like almost silent. Sometime before it quiets down, you can just see, you spot the barest, faintest little like wisp of smoke up over the trees from that direction as well.
Okay, cool. I'll finish my watch and wake Hannibal up and just be like, hey, there's a camp like close to the road over there. I don't think they're gonna bother us, but just
Thank you, Ilvim. I have an idea.
okay, good night, and I'm gonna immediately pass out.
Okay.
All right. Abacus, go check out that campsite.
Okay. So you send Abacus to fly over in that direction?
Yep.
All right. It's more than 100 feet, so Abacus, you won't be able to see through Abacus's eyes in that direction unless you fly. Well, yeah, no, even like 100. I suppose like 100 feet up, you'd be able to like kind of see it, but you wouldn't be able to get a really good look at it.
Balls. Okay. Never mind.
Okay.
I'm very
Right, so
tempted just to wander over that way and see what is happening, but I stay here.
Okay. So you just hang out. All right.
Yep.
Roll me a perception check for your watch, please.
Yep, Hannibal does not have good perception. But that's okay. What is my perception? Oh, never mind. 18.
Okay. Yeah, as you're sitting up and you're sitting up and keeping watch. Because Ilvin pointed it out, you can hear like the subtle shifting of like sounds of horses and things, and like a little bit of lapping sounds in the water. So you can definitely seems like the end of this. It's probably the end of the stream towards the river is where this camp is. So if you followed the creek in that direction, that'd probably be where they are. You also spot at a distance does Hannibal have dark vision?
Well, that's a good question. Triton, no, he does not. Interesting.
Okay. At a distance in the darkness, you can spot like just a pair of just like shining yellow eyes, like at a good distance, and you can see as they move that like they kind of vanish and reappear, just like looking in your direction but obscured by leaves. And you just like sit and watch for a minute as it like seems like whatever that is just kind of looking in your direction.
I touch Abacus
Mm-hmm.
because he's a bat.
Yeah.
But do bats have dark vision?
I don't know, do they?
It makes sense if they don't because of echolocation.
Yeah.
They do not. They have blind sense.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so never mind. So that's totally a wolf over there. That's interesting.
But then you see the eyes just vanish, and you don't see anything.
Okay.
And that is the rest of your watch.
All right. I'm going to, before I wake up Drusilla, because Hannibal wants to have some fun. He's going to cast Disguise Self.
Okay.
And take on the appearance of a one-armed half-orc with a bandit-like outfit.
Okay.
And she's up in the tree, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna start shaking the tree.
All right, Drusilla, you're in a trance, so like you come out of your trance at the end and look down. You see a one-armed half-orc looking bandit shaking the bottom of your tree.
Drusilla, how far down? Like how far up in the tree?
Probably like 10 feet.
10 feet? Okay. Drusilla's gonna try and hit him with a thorn whip and like pull him up into the tree with her.
Okay, roll the attack.
Oh no, wait!
That is a 7 + 6. So math, 13.
13 just hits.
Ouch.
You brought this on yourself.
Yeah.
3 damage, and she's gonna pull him up into the tree.
No, right, Drusilla, it's me!
Hannibal, you're like shaking the tree, and all of a sudden, just like a thorny vine just shoots down out of there and like wraps around you, and then yanks you up out of your feet. And you like fly up into the air and like end up bent over the tree branch, like with your feet dangling. And Drusilla's right next to you with it, and it just like rips across your skin and does a little bit of damage.
No, there isn't that. How much damage?
3.
3.
Hannibal's unconscious.
Hannibal?
No, I'm kidding.
What happened? What have you been doing?
It's just me, Drusilla. I'm sorry, and I turn back to Hannibal.
Okay.
So just so you know, there's sounds coming over that way. Probably another campsite, maybe bandits. And I saw what I think are wolf eyes over there watching us sleep. Thank you.
Drusilla's coming down from like the absolute panic of being woken up by a bandit, and she's just like, okay, go get some sleep then.
Look how alert you are. I was so good. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, don't hurt yourself getting down.
Oh, that's right. I try to climb down.
Okay. Yeah, it's not hard. It's like
Okay.
it's a 10-foot tree. You can pretty much like grab onto the tree branch and like just pretty much completely extend yourself.
Yeah, I'm 6
and then just like drop. So like, yeah, with your arms and legs, you're like nearly at the ground. You can just drop just like the last couple of feet and you're fine.
They don't call me Hannah Swole for nothing.
No one calls you that.
No one calls you Hannah Swole.
Put those words back in your mouth this instant.
All right, well, Drusilla, don't get eaten by a wolf.
I've survived this long without doing that.
But what if the wolf is magical?
So am I.
So am I.
Go to bed.
Okay. And I go back to my bedding and sleep.
Okay.
Can I have a short rest, please?
Yeah.
Or wait, we're gonna be getting a long rest, I assume, anyway.
Yeah, this will count as your long rest. Yeah. Okay, Drusilla, your watch. Perception check, please.
Unless we get woken
She
up.
is going to come out of the tree
Okay. Let's hang out down in camp.
Yeah, I have 3.
into the woods. She's
Okay, so you're gonna kind of like back up into the woods away from camp a little.
yeah,
Okay.
still keeping camp relatively close, but
Okay. The fire
she's
is
gonna
down to
go
basically
into
just
the
like
woods.
okay. The fire is down to basically like embers at this point. Does Drusilla have dark vision?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, you can
60
see
feet.
perfectly well within the campsite.
Yeah. So perception check.
Yep.
17.
Okay. Yeah, you hear the same like subtle sounds of camp from down the way. It's very, very quiet at this point, but then now that since they're pointed out to you, you're listening for it. And as you're watching with your dark vision, you spot those same yellow eyes that Hannibal saw, and then like, but because you're like off in the woods, you see a shape like emerge out from some bushes and start slowly creeping towards your campsite.
I will approach silently.
Okay. You make me a stealth check.
Natural.
Where is it? Would you consider me lightly obscured?
I'd say so. Yeah.
The dark-
Yeah.
Can I use
Well,
Mask of the Wild?
yeah. Well, you're like in the woods too, so yeah, that would be
Yeah.
exactly what that's for.
Yeah. So stealth check.
Roll that nat 20.
That one.
Nat 20.
Those words back in your mouth.
Roll both. You have advantage.
Roll both advantage.
Wait, because does Mask of the Wild or does Mask of the
It
Wild
just
give you
says
advantage?
attempt to hide when you're lightly obscured.
Oh, okay. So you just need to be lightly obscured. That's it. Okay, so you don't need to have
Yeah.
like full cover. You can just be like under some light covering. Okay, never mind. So
Same.
no advantage
So-
then.
So stealth check.
Yes, not stealth
that's a
check, not
5.
advantage. Okay,
That's a
So you're-
5.
you're like creeping your way along, but you just like step on a stick, and there's just like a, and you look up at like you get close enough though, you can see like it has gotten to the creek and is making its way across the water, like slowly going rock to rock, and it like looks right up at you. It's within your range of dark vision, and you can see a fox, and it is going for the discarded pile of rabbit bones.
Oh.
Hello, little friend.
It's just like frozen now that it sees you.
Hope it talks back.
Is a fox considered a beast?
Yes, it is.
What does the fox say?
Shut up.
We're about to find out.
So tempted. I was so tempted to start singing, but the thing it was like a traffic jam of all the different parts of that song, just like trying to get out at once, and I just couldn't decide.
So, due to the circle that I am,
Mm-hmm.
I have speech of the woods, which means that beasts can understand my speech.
Okay.
So just gonna slowly approach and just be like, "Hi, friend."
So yeah,
Don't
as you
need to
speak, like
worry."
it's like hunched down. You can see its hackles are raised a little bit. Its tail is puffed out, and like, but then you speak to it and like goes. Its like head comes up a little bit and tilts slightly to the side as it understands what you're saying.
Hi, I'm Drusilla. Are you wanting those bones?
You can see it like sniffs in their direction and then looks back up at you.
Drusilla's gonna kind of not get closer to the fox, but try and go towards the bones.
Kind of like keeping the same distance, but like circling in that direction.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can circle over it. It like keeps an eye on you as you go, but doesn't move. Seems to be a slightly more relaxed since it can understand you.
She's going to pick up one of the bones
Mm-hmm.
and offer it up to the fox.
Okay.
Just be like, come on, friend. It's all right.
Make me an animal handling check with advantage because you have food that it specifically wants.
I'm going to get a pet fox, Sam, don't you? I'm gonna get
Yes.
a pet fox.
Pet Fox, 2K20.
19 plus 4, bitches.
Okay. So you spend basically Drusilla spends her watch like You just like kneel down and sit there very, very patiently. And you realize that like it probably won't come to you immediately. So like you have to take like a tiny little bone, like little, bits, like one with like more meaty bits still attached to it, and like kind of toss it towards it like halfway. And then you're just gonna sit very still and wait. Then it slowly creeps up, kneels down and eats that one, and like watches it, like picks it up and like watches you, sees you're not moving, so it's like munching on it. And like just as it finishes that one, it looks like it's about to go. You like take another one, like toss it to the halfway mark, and it looks around and wait. And you like sit and you wait for a while. There's just a lot of just sitting still and waiting as it develops trust, and then just gets closer.
Allow me, can I ritually cast Speak with Animals on this one?
While this is happening?
Yeah, so it can communicate back with me.
Yeah, so as this is happening, like as you're doing this and it's getting closer and closer, it gets to like, it's within the campsite now, and you take time and you like gradually, it takes you a little bit longer because you're like focusing on this as well and not scaring it off. So you have to very, very slowly cast this spell, but eventually you manage to cast Speak with Animals right as it's like to about probably 6 feet away from you.
Hi, friend. Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Do you have a name?
Do I have a name?
Yeah, my name's Drusilla. Do you have one?
Thinks for a second. I've never needed a name.
Do you want one?
What do they do?
It's just so that your friends know what to call you. Do you have friends?
Yes, we don't call each other anything. We just know.
Can I be your friend?
Thinks about it for a second as it looks at the bone and just like comes the last couple steps closer, and then just like takes the bone out of your hand, puts it down. Yes, I think so.
Well, if I'm your friend, then I'm going to have to give you a name so that I know what to call you.
Okay.
Oh, there's a lot of pressure right now. What kind of trees are nearby? Like what's the pine, oak?
Let's see. It's a fairly deciduous forest. Let's see. You're near water. Probably a fair amount of birch and willow. Willow further along, you can spot them at a distance. A lot of birch though.
Willow. Can I call you Willow?
Yes. I think that. Yes.
Hi, Willow.
Hello.
Hi. How do I do this?
Leans down. Crunch, crunch, crunch.
Can I pet you, Willow?
Freezes for a second. Thinks. What is pet?
She offer her hand for like Willow to sniff and just be like, I will scratch gently the top of your head if you will allow it.
Comes in a little closer, very hesitantly, like stretches its neck out so like the rest of it can be like ready to bolt at any second. Sniffs at your hand and then
little scritches on top. Scritch.
Like gradually brings the rest of his body in a little closer and then just like leans his head up into your hand as you scratch his top of his head. It's like, oh, this is nice. Oh, this feels nice.
So, Giselle's having the time of her life right now. Do you want to come on an adventure with me?
What is adventure?
Oh, that is a good question. I've been asking myself that for 2 years now. We travel together like a pack. I provide for you and give you lots of scritches and pets. And you might, look ahead for me once or twice.
And food?
Food will always be there for you. I promise.
Food and this. And he like leans his head into the hand scratches.
All the time. 100, except when we're walking, but all night. At nighttime, I will give you all the pets you want.
I think I like adventure.
I think I'll like it too with you by my side.
Okay.
And will Willow come into her lap if she sits on the ground?
It takes a minute. Like you're keeping him at a distance. You like gradually bring your hand like closer, and it's like he kind of like follows it. Like as you move it, he like now is the point where like he puts his head like into your hand, and like you can get him to come closer and closer and closer until like he comes into your lap, and then just like curls up and lays down, his tail just like left in front of his face, and there's just like a moment where he sits there, and then just you can hear him say, "You are warm."
Drusilla is almost crying right now. She's just gonna keep giving him the pets he deserves. Just like,
Okay.
oh, I love you, Willow.
What is love?
Baby, don't hurt.
Yes.
Love is this.
This is nice.
And she's just gonna pet him until before the spell ends. She will be like, in the morning, my siblings will wake up. Do not be scared of them. They mean you no harm.
Okay.
They're part of my pack. I protect them. And they protect me.
Okay.
Okay. And she's just gonna continue petting.
All right. All right. Eventually, your watch ends. Morning comes, and everyone else starts waking up. I think Sid is probably the first up because Sid didn't have a watch.
Mm-hmm.
So Sid, you wake up and you look over, and Drusilla's just like seated in the middle of camp with a fox asleep in her lap.
Sid's gonna kind of like look over and sort of like silently raise an eyebrow. Is not saying anything yet.
It's just gonna.
Sid's just gonna kind of shrug and start sort of silently packing up his bedroll, and then probably taking a moment to do a little bit of yoga before everyone wakes up.
Okay. Ilvan wakes up next. Look over, and Sid's doing yoga, and Drusilla has a fox, like slowly waking up in her lap.
Oh, so cute. I'm gonna join in on the yoga, but like not real yoga. I'm just stretching.
Okay. And then Hannibal, you're the last to wake up. Two people just doing weird movements and stretching, and then Drusilla's just still sitting there with some kind of animal in her lap.
Malek, don't get jealous.
Hey Hannibal, is your shirt ripped?
What?
Yeah. From the thorn whip. Oops.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, mending.
Yeah. Wake up and
No, it's not. Why do you ask?
Oh, I just thought I saw it was ripped.
I'm ripped.
You are ripped.
I hate that we made this discovery.
take you people anyway.
Thanks,
Okay.
I hate it.
Okay, so you all wake up. You can start breaking down camp. As soon as you like a significant amount of movement happens, and like you start breaking down camp and everything, Willow like wakes up, looks around, stands up, and then just starts like walking off into the woods.
No, Willow. Willow. back with some bread.
Looks back at the bread, comes back and sniffs it, like licks it a couple times, but then just like pulls back, and then like
Hello.
turns or like comes up
We're
and will
going
like
on an adventure.
Will like comes up and like puts his head up underneath your hand, like you're holding out the bread. He kind of like does this with his head underneath it, and then he's gonna turn around and start like going back out into the woods.
They're just gonna follow. Just like, no, Willow.
Wait,
You're moving.
Where are you going?
Willow. It's just
So
an
it's just like
adventure.
sadly following after this fox.
Sometimes wild needs to stay in the wild.
Maybe
Willow.
he's
anyone
gonna
have any
follow
meat?
us in the forest.
In any of my rations, do I have any meat?
At least some dried meat, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna grab some meat and sort of like walk like with Drew and like
Mhm.
crouch low, stay a distance away, and sort of hold my hand out with the meats.
Okay. As like two of you start following after him, he starts going faster.
Oh damn it!
Yeah.
Give it to me.
I'm gonna hand off
Willow
the meat to Drew.
trusts
Yeah.
me.
Yep.
Willow-
Hand off the meat to Drew, and then walk back
And then
so
I'll
that I'm
take
not
Sid's
following
hand
at
again.
all.
You'll what?
Take Sid's hand again.
Okay. All right. So you take the dried meat. Willow like sniffs it and comes up to you, like takes some. It's like chews on, like kind of gnaws on it. It's a little tough. Basically beef jerky. We'll chew on it for a bit.
Oh, I should go pick up beef jerky today.
I'm going
I
to
have
spend a
some.
spell slot and cast Speak with Animals.
Okay.
Just be like, where are you going, Willow?
Around into the woods.
But we're going on an adventure.
Yes. Yes.
No, you stay with me. And
All
I
the
give
time.
you
All the time.
food. Yes. And I give you food and pet.
But all the time.
You stay close to me.
How close?
So that I can see you and you can see me.
All the time.
Yes, silly. That's how I know you're there, and that's how I know I can give you pets.
You see him like pulls back at this idea. Just
Don't break
You said-
my heart, Sam.
but you said pack. Packs
Yeah,
don't
my pack.
packs don't see each other all the time. Packs wander, but then packs come back together.
My pack stays together all the time.
No, we don't.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Let me have a pet
Wait.
fox, Sam.
I am. I'm just, but he's a wild fox.
I promise you, Willow. It'll be fun. You will be happy.
I am happy, but I would like to wander.
Do you promise to stay close and come back?
Yes.
Okay.
And just comes up and like pushes his hand up into your hand again, and then goes off into the bushes.
Stay safe, Willow.
You as well.
See you soon.
Trots off.
I'll walk over to Drusilla
Mm-hmm.
and just say sometimes wild is better. And I'm gonna say you can hold on to Moloch for a while, and then hand her Moloch.
Oh, don't call me a baby. Aw.
While all that's happening, I'm gonna ask Sid for some wire. Can I have some wire?
Why do you need it?
I want to make something.
Okay. You can have a little bit. I don't have much of it. I need it for tripwires.
Okay, I'm gonna take enough to like make a collar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tie the holy symbol of Ilmater I have
Mm-hmm.
onto it, and I'm gonna walk it over to Drusilla
Mm-hmm.
and be like, "Here, and for when you see him again, maybe you can get him to wear it, and then I'll be able to find him whenever you want, as long as he's within like 1,000 feet or something."
What does the holy symbol look like?
It's like, it's actually like pretty dark. It's like essentially like a crucified person on like
Nice.
an X of yeah, it's like a person like tied up onto like an X, and like the person depicted is like pretty brutalized.
I really like it, Ilvem.
Thanks, it was Victoria's.
Ah. Okay. Thanks. And she'll just put it in her bag for the next time she sees Willow.
Mm-hmm.
We're going on a bandit hunt.
We are, yes.
Sid's gonna finish packing up
Mm-hmm.
the campsite.
If I
Alright.
die from these bandits, you are all free to use my body as meat.
Thanks.
Gonna die.
You don't know that.
No, I do.
No, anyone can die at any moment.
I'm not gonna let you die, Hannibal.
I'm not saying you're going to let me die, I'm just saying.
It
can
will be
happen to
over my
anyone.
dead body that you will die.
Oh, let's talk of death. My goodness.
Yeah, this is early in the morning. Can we table this for at least another hour or two?
I've been awake 4 hours and someone I love just left me. Fuck off.
I thought you were going to call it the fox Asha or something.
That's not right to give someone else's name for something.
That would be a little too on the nose.
Haha. I named Moloch after something else.
What did you name Moloch after?
Moloch.
Demon.
Yes.
Yes, that makes sense. I'm with you.
I was like, right, yes, of course you did, you weirdo.
And I named Abacus after something as well.
An abacus?
Yes.
I hated those things. That's the math thing, right?
Yeah.
Did you know my name was supposed to be Sextant?
That is fantastic. Thank you for telling me.
But I changed it to Hannibal.
Wait, like your name was actually Sextant, but you changed it to Hannibal?
Believe what you want to believe.
I choose to believe it.
Do I
Do I believe this living
Do I
with him for
believe
2 years?
Good question.
Do I believe?
Can I insight?
That's a
check
natural
this?
one on a deception.
So, yeah, no, none of you believe this.
But I'm choosing to believe it anyways.
All right.
Thank you, Ivan.
It's hard. It's difficult to believe, but you manage it.
Yeah, I'm like, yep, mm-hmm.
Totally. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So, I think it's time to go find those bandits, yes?
I would love nothing more. I really want to get back to the city.
And then
Alright.
Drusilla
Don't.
can show us how she skinned the rabbit on the bandits.
That's a little far, Hannibal.
But I can use it for materials for my spells.
Human skin? What spells
Just
do
a
you have that
human.
require human skin?
It's more preparing for the future.
You also hear a lot of sounds of movement starting up and voices back in that direction, further downstream towards the road.
What are
I'm
Zosos
gonna
of bandits?
walk that way.
Yeah, me too. And I'm gonna have can somebody kind of make sure I don't trip over anything, please?
Too late. I'm walking away.
Drusilla?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, because I'm gonna be looking through Abacus for a bit, and then Abacus is just gonna go.
Okay. So you keep him like within 100 feet of you?
Yeah, and I'm just gonna, my eyes roll in the back of my head, and I look through Abacus's eyes.
Okay. So you all start heading through the woods in that direction?
Yep.
Mhm.
Sid, you clean up your bells and string?
Yeah.
Okay, so you like untie that and like string them back up, pack up the campsite. All right, and you start heading towards the woods. Abacus is the first to see, very close to the road, like pretty much outside the woods. There's like is a pretty large size campsite that's been set up overnight and is currently being broken down. It extends into the woods a little bit, right about to where the stream ends, into kind of just like water pouring over some rocks and then just kind of absorbing into the ground. And you can see that there are a couple, like several horses tied up near there that are like we're drinking out of the water. It looks to be like flying around and circling from above a couple times. It looks like some kind of merchant / entertainment caravan. Like you can see big wooden, like large wooden wagons, like the kinds that look like people can live in. These look like they are people spend a lot of time on the road. The most prominent figure you see, like kind of slowly hobbling around, is a rather old-looking turtle who is just kind of wandering around and calling out to people and directing things. Like, all right, get that there, hook up the horses, let's get ready to go. Back on the road. Come on now.
I relay all this information.
Okay. Hannibal's just like
Perfect.
speaking about all this out loud.
I'm gonna burst through the tree line in a truly extravagant
Oh no!
way.
Okay.
Say hi.
Abacus
Okay.
back on my shoulder.
Abacus comes down. As you burst through the tree line, you see everyone like turns and looks in your direction. One person in general like rushes forward and draws a sword and points it at you. Looks to be one of the caravan guards. She is her eyes are like this almost sickly looking yellow in the center and dark around like where there should be whites, and she has a very flat nose and like almost like a scaly appearance across her cheeks. And she draws a very like narrow, straight, very sharp looking sword and points it at you and just goes, "State your business."
Don't point your sword at me, weirdo. You don't own these woods. Who are you?
Well, everyone's gonna die.
Should I skewer him? And then the turtle like hobbles his way over. Just what? No, calm down. All right, what are you doing? Just kind of bursting out of the woods here. You scare people like that.
Do you own these woods? Am I not allowed to burst through some trees?
A little bit of advice here is just if you're gonna jump out at people who are armed, I don't care who owns what, you just might get yourself stuck with something pointy.
I mean, you're always welcome to try. But
I'd rather no one stuck anybody with anything right now.
I'm always down to get stuck.
The two of them just like look at each other and look back.
With like a very exaggerated wink, you know? Like it's like quite dramatic. Anyways, I'm Ilvam.
Should we intervene?
Yes.
Yep.
And I hold my hand out to shake.
The woman like still has her sword out, and the turtle just like puts his giant like scaly hand on hers and like just pushes it out of the way. It steps past her, holds out his like enormous turtle paw. He's like, "Oh, nice to meet you. I'm Sue."
Nice name. What are you guys doing here?
Making camp. We're traveling on our way to city further up the road this way. He points in the same direction you're going.
Oh my gosh. So I know we might have gotten off on the wrong foot, but how much fun would it be if we hitched a ride with you for a hot minute? Because we're also going this way. I could play you a song if you want.
Stop right there. Who's we?
Hello.
Hi.
Shit, sword comes back out.
Sid's gonna walk out of the tree line, like hands up.
Hello. I am
Make
Hannibal.
sure, like, not a threat.
I am wizard.
Warning.
I am wizard extraordinaire.
You see, the woman is like pointing her sword between all of you. Sees Sid, just goes, "So far, I like this one the best."
What's that supposed to mean? Do you not like how I look? I wear a very unassuming outfit.
Hi, I'm Drew. Drusilla. Hi. Hello.
All right, what are y'all doing? Well, I just gotta ask, what are y'all doing? Just kind of creeping in the woods around my
Hunting
camp.
bandits.
Making friends.
There's a very nice little like spot back there that we just had a camp in.
All right, so you're hunting bandits. I heard that. I heard making friends, but that doesn't make sense.
Have you seen a fox around here?
No.
Oh,
That tracks.
well, that's Willow. That's my friend. Don't hurt him.
Right. So you said you're hunting bandits. You're going the same direction we are. That's what I'm getting here.
Yeah.
That's the gist.
What?
The gist.
What is he saying to me?
Just of it.
Just.
Oh, why didn't you just say that?
That's what I said. I'm going
Alright.
to cast
Kind of
firebolt on
rude.
this man. I'm going to throw a firebolt at this man.
Don't
What
you
was that you said?
terrible.
Oh, sorry. I
Okay.
have a disorder where I speak words I don't mean.
All right, well, come on out of the woods then. Zella, put the sword away. The woman just sheathes the sword suspiciously and takes a few steps back, but stays facing all of you. And Sue says, "All right, well, we'll keep this simple. We never say no to travelers on the road, even if they are coming to us under weird circumstances."
You're not going to indoctrinate us into your caravan here, are you?
Oh, please
What is-
do.
What is that supposed to mean?
Like, we're not going to be kidnapped and made part of your traveling caravan?
No.
Performers. You're not going to force us to
Are you
perform?
guys a circus?
No. Well, no, okay. I'm a merchant. My carts are those ones, and he points to like some more.
Do we have anything for sale?
Yeah. Those ones are mine, and he points at like some of the more brightly colored ones with like primarily like bright yellow with red trim around the outside, and he says, "Those ones belong to Cadence back there, and those are the performers. We're separate, but we've been traveling together lately."
Hi.
Zella here works for me. She just inclines her head in your direction very slightly.
Interesting.
You know, I think we're gonna be friends, Zella. I think you're gonna really like me.
Not so far.
That's
Well-
okay. We can work on it.
Well, he likes being skewered, so that might be a quick way to a friendship.
He sort of grows on you, kind of like a mold.
Because I'm a
I like
fun
you
guy.
more the more you speak.
I'm leaving this group forever now.
No.
I'll make like a fox.
Low blow.
Does anyone in your caravan need help packing up?
No, we've about
Two
got it.
working hands?
We're almost packed up here. We were about to start heading on the road again. Are you? I see you're armed. Are you capable to fight?
I'm very capable.
All right. Well, we can always use more hands for that. Roads are safe, but never be too sure. Usual speech. You do anything, step out of line, endanger anybody, happen to be bandits yourselves, Zella will put that pointy sword through your soft bits.
Do we look like bandits?
You kind of look like a bandit.
How do I look like a bandit? If anyone here looks like a bandit, it's Sid.
Key thing for bandits is that a bandit tries not to look like a bandit, so you don't know they're a bandit.
Exactly.
Otherwise,
Wait,
they're
what?
easy to tell.
No,
I think it's the hat.
I wouldn't be a very good bandit. I'm too tall.
I don't know about that. Anyway, we're gonna start. We're packing up. We're gonna get going. We got to get to Bakir's Landing in a couple days here, so we're on a tight schedule.
All
Cool.
right,
Let's
well,
go.
thank you for letting us travel with you. We appreciate it.
Of course. And then Well, gotta get to Bakir's Landing so we can move through there, get some money, and then we can get over to Darba to get some of those pies. Huh? And he like elbows Zella in the side. She's like, yes, pies.
I like pies.
Sure.
What kind of pie?
Oh, all kind. There's a baker over in a village across the border. Baker over there I like. Makes very good pies.
Has Drusilla ever had a pie?
I think in some of your like meals at the inn and like various inns and places you stayed in the city so far, there have been like pie and something like it has been present. Yeah.
Kidney pie.
Okay.
So we're on a tight schedule, so I can get my fill of pie. But
I'm ready to go whenever you are.
also business. All right. Well, gather around if you want to know more about the performing part. Cadence will be around here somewhere.
I'm gonna wait until I see where Zella sits down, and I'm gonna sit down right next to her.
Zella doesn't sit. Zella just kind of starts like wandering around.
Right,
Zella
would be even more annoying and be a step behind her the entire time, just chattering.
If Ilvem dies, we just move on. Right? No?
Yeah.
So, anyways, I really like putting honey on my bread, but like, not everybody likes putting honey on their bread, and like, I get that, of course. But what's your favorite breakfast food?
turns and walks away.
Eat apples. I'm still following.
All right. She gets about like she speeds up and gets like 10 feet away from you, and then turns around and like opens her mouth, and when she does, you can see that she has fangs both going up and down on both sides, and she has a forked tongue which she like lifts up and just like goes and then just like this jet of green poison just shoots out of her mouth and just like sprays in a cloud across the ground in front of you. Stops just shy of your boots, but like after a second you can see like all the grass and plants there just like wither and die, and she just goes, watch where you step or what you say around me, and turns and just keeps going.
Cool. And then I'm gonna catch up again. I'm gonna like skirt around the dead grass.
Ilvem's going to die, you guys.
Ilvum's gonna call.
Sue's like watching after that. Just your friend lacks a certain fear in them, don't they?
You could say they lack something else too.
Well, I'll let you say that.
Sid's gonna call out to Ilvum. Hey, Ilvum.
What?
Can you come over here and hold my hand?
Yeah. It was really nice talking to you. Bye.
Ilvem,
What?
did you lack attention as a child?
Nope. I had an excruciating amount of attention, actually.
I figured this much. Weird.
All right, so they start getting everything loaded up. Sue goes and sits in front of on the lead wagon to drive, and you can see that it's like an extra wide reinforced seat for him that he sits on. It's like at a back that like is specifically made to like for like the points of his shell. He kind of has like a tortoise shell where it goes like it has like peaks on it, and it's like specifically made with like sections for that to like nestle into, and like the whole wagon sags and like groans as he sits down on top of it, grabs the reins. You can see he has like a team of oxen pulling it, but it's also a fairly sizable wagon.
Nice.
All right, everybody, let's get going. They start pulling up out on the road. As the caravan starts going, the back end seems to be the entertainment part, and you see someone who like it takes you a second to realize he's a tabaxi at first, because he is 100% hairless.
Nice.
Kind of picture like the naked, like the hairless cat version of a tabaxi.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
That's like a sphinx.
Like the
Wrinkles.
really big floppy ears hanging down, but also just head to toe covered in tattoos.
This guy's awesome.
Yes.
Every inch you can see.
You are amazing.
Well, hello and thank you.
Are you a monk?
No, I've never been to a monastery. I find that lifestyle a little too restrictive for me.
Me too.
Well, that's something we have in common, I suppose. Hello, my name is Cadence.
I am Sextant. I mean Hannibal.
That is a very interesting mix-up. I would love to know how those two are connected in your mind.
Me too.
I run this little traveling company here of performers. We go from town to town, village to village. We're currently in the search of a patron.
Are you looking for a magician?
We're not looking for one per se, but we're always open for new family members.
Good to know.
What do you call your troop?
Well, we don't exactly have a name at the moment. We're not really big enough for that to matter, I suppose. We sort of just go from village to village there, and we've tried a couple names out, but no one really remembers them. We never come back to the same place twice for anyone to particularly care. So it's just, entertainment is the important thing. Villagers have low standards, is what I've found, and that makes for stable work.
Oh.
I see.
Hey, do you want to trade secrets?
Well, I'll never turn down that offer. Yes, let's please.
Okay. You give me a secret, and then I'll give you a secret.
I understand you have played this game before.
What game?
The Secret for a Secret game.
I didn't realize there was a game. Oh, I could have been playing. Damn.
Let me think. Well, a secret for a secret. He leans in and he says, I found that Sue needs to scrub his shell once a week. Don't tell anyone.
Oh, I wouldn't dream of it. Okay.
Your turn.
Here's my secret. You know the turtle Sue? He needs to scrub his shell once a week.
I thought you'd played this game before. A tricky one. I like you. Tell me, you strike me as a performer, and not just because of the instruments. You have a certain bearing about you.
I've been on a stage a time or two.
What's your performance of choice?
I'm usually just a flautist, but I'm not too bad at the lute either.
Admirable. So the musical variety, at least, then.
Yeah.
I see. Well, good for you. Nice to meet another fellow in the business.
It's always lovely.
Indeed, it is. So what brings you out this far? Flautists and sorry?
Bandit hunting.
So you moonlight as a mercenary then?
Yeah, I have some pretty specific training.
Which is the moonlighting? The mercenary or the performer? Or are they about equal?
Oh, so I see you still want to play the secret game.
Oh, is that a secret?
It could be.
You are very good at this game.
Yeah.
Oh, I get the feeling a flautist does not spend much time performing out in the sticks as we are.
I perform often enough, and I'm gonna pull out my flute, and play a very specific melody that only certain people would recognize.
Okay. He listens to it and just says, "It's a very nice tune. I get the sense that it caters to a bit more of a cosmopolitan crowd than our usual audience."
Does that mean underground?
No, I mean cities, people of culture.
Oh. Cosmopolitan. Cool, I'm gonna try to use that.
All right.
But see, I just got to perform right here, right now.
That is true. Yes, you did.
Well, it was lovely meeting you.
And you as well.
And I'm gonna walk up to Drew and grab her hand.
Okay.
What do you want? What's going on?
Nothing. What's going on with you?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm holding your hand
Why?
because it's nice.
Is it?
Yeah,
Why?
it just says.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Cool. I was gonna go talk to
I'll come.
the horse. Okay.
Oh, by the way, Cadence's tattoos, at least on the face, the most prominent ones you can see are a pair of open eyes are tattooed on his ears, so that like when they're flopped forward, it looks like he has a second pair of eyes. And his face is just covered in floral tattoos.
Excellent.
So
An
sick.
aesthetic bitch. I love.
So, how long will it take for us to get where we're going, roughly?
Is you asking the caravan, or is this just you thinking about your own like calculations?
Yeah.
Okay. As far as you know, you're probably going to get there like this evening within the area. Then you have to figure out like there's kind of like an area where you're aware the bandits have been like attacking and everything, and it's localized enough and frequent enough based on the reports that it's likely that they're based in this area, but you have no idea where exactly their base is. So it's kind of like you get into an area and then you have to find them.
Yeah. I have a plan for that.
And it is that part. It gets off the main road a little bit. It is not. It's not right on this main thoroughfare, so you will have to like split off at some point, probably like this afternoon.
Okay. So, friends, I think we might have to split up from these individuals later this afternoon to get to where we're going.
Oh, but I'm having so much fun.
I can see that.
Well, we can continue having fun for at least a bit longer.
Exactly.
And then we get to go bandit hunting, and then we get to go back to the city.
And we maybe find these people again and...
Fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Don't go ahead.
As say, as we're traveling, Sid's gonna turn to Hannibal. So you must have quite a lot of experience with monasteries to make such an assumption about them.
I do actually, indeed, yes.
Oh, really? Where did you study?
It's a big one.
The big one, yeah, that's definitely an interesting place to study monkhood. Tell me, how far along did you get in your studies?
5 minutes.
I'm wondering where you got your assumptions.
Nowhere.
Well, just know that not everything that's been said about monastery life is true.
Oh, you guys
Especially depending on...
You guys get up to some fucked up shit?
Depending on...
Orgies?
Depending on...
That's a yes.
What sort of monastery you go to. Yes, they can get a bit wild.
Interesting.
Oh yeah. Way of the Drunken Master.
That's right.
Yeah. You said you know of a good number of monasteries and monastic orders and like monk traditions. Not all monks come from monasteries as well.
I heard a rumor. Do a lot of monks freeball?
You know, Honestly, probably.
That's the way it should be. I don't wear underwear myself. It's restrictive.
You're not wrong.
You move better and quicker without it. I've noticed it's improved my gait as well.
You know, you overshare.
I do. It's because I'm not used to social interactions. I was an experiment and I was held up in a lab for most of my life. 30 some odd years.
Really?
Yes.
Do I believe Hannibal?
That is up to you.
I believe so. There is no deception check needs to be rolled here. Hannibal grew up in the Enclave.
Never left.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever want to leave? Was that ever something, the possibility of doing this ever on your mind?
Not really. Not until I was kind of forced into it. You could say it was a reluctant path. I quite enjoyed being in the laboratory, messing with others. Their stupid experiments. Sharing a lab was the worst thing about it.
And now that you are out in the world more, how do you feel about it?
Better, but not happy.
How come?
We're experiments. What's to be happy about that?
Well, I mean, who you were.
I don't know who I was.
Well, you seem to think that what defined you was the fact that you were an experiment.
We all were.
Well, that doesn't define who you are now.
No. That's right. I'm just along for a ride to see what happens.
That's definitely admirable, but...
I want to kill Grantar.
Really?
Yes. Nobody should be forced to be like this. I shouldn't look like this, based on what my people are. The procedures mutated me.
Well, then I can say that we agree on one thing. That our creator
Is an asshole.
Father is an asshole, but I think that you are much more than you give yourself credit for, and that you deserve to be happy.
I've been pondering that lately. I'm very, very curious about spending more time at that university.
Well then, if that's what you want to do, do it.
I like traveling, but the academics always had their hooks in me.
Well, you don't have to choose one over the other. Where I come from, what I studied, even though it is a monastery, spoke of the balance between the wild and the controlled in us. Balancing your life, your wants, your desires with your duty. You're allowed to do both. And I can't speak for the rest of the group, but I support you in your academic endeavors.
I don't think Drusilla would be too happy if I left.
Well, I'm not saying leave, but like I said, you don't have to pick one or the other. You're allowed to do both. You said you like traveling. You can continue to travel. You can also continue to study.
That's
You don't
also
have to
true.
be just one thing.
That's true. I think I'd like to learn about where I came from, and not just about the Enclave. There has to be something more to it. I was told by Grantar that I was a Triton, but I looked at Tritons and found Tritons in my research, and there must have been other Tritons at the Enclave, but none of them look like me. I look different. Do I actually have parents? Who knows?
Well, if that's something that you want to look into, and if you want help, I'm here. And I can't say whether or not you have parents, but at the very least, you have us.
That's
And that's
true.
more than most people.
You might be right.
As you're all traveling along, eventually you come to a point where they need to, like, just take the harnesses off the horses about midday and just like rub them down and make sure that they're not like pressing on them any weird anywhere, giving them sores.
Drusilla is helping.
At some point, Drusilla, you hear just like a little like yip from behind you. And like when you turn around, your foot nudges up against something, and there's just like a dead bird on the ground right behind your foot.
Look around. Do I see anything?
See the little face peeking up out of like the brush on the side of the road, and this like nudges his nose towards you, looking down at the bird and looking up at you, and looking down at the bird and looking up at you.
Thank you.
Then just like retreats back into the woods.
Dead bird.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna give it to Hannibal. Just like, do you want this?
No.
Can you use it?
No, maybe, actually, thank you. Hey, Moloch. Oh, wait, Moloch's with Drusilla.
I can give it to Moloch.
You already gave it to Hannibal.
Do you want Moloch back?
Hannibal says out loud.
You already gave it to Hannibal. Hannibal speaks in the first person.
Hold on a second, Drusilla.
Third person.
Hold on a second, Drusilla. I cut the bird in half.
Okay.
Here, you can take this half to Moloch. This half is mine.
Okay. Take the bird and give it to her little nephew Moloch. Just here you go.
Okay, yeah, the two heads will take the two halves and start devouring them.
It's a gift from Willow.
What kind of bird was it?
Sparrow.
Nice. I have half a sparrow in my bag of holding.
Oh, you gave. Okay, I thought you gave the two halves to Moloch. Okay.
No, I put the other half in my bag of holding.
God. Okay, so then Moloch's two heads are fighting over the sparrow. Ah, there we go.
So happy. I love Willow so much.
Okay, and then eventually you get everything back on the road and start moving.
Excellent.
So you make your way along. You can see Sue is like keeping an eye out and like directing everything and looking out on the road and just you can tell just a very experienced traveler. Zella is kind of just like wandering, like weaving in and out of the wagons as they're moving, and moves kind of like in a winding pattern around, just keeping a perimeter, keeping a close eye on absolutely everything around. And Cadence is like, talking to some of the performers, like some of them are like juggling while they walk, and he's like giving feedback and critique on some things. There's occasional like singing and like storytellers, and like there'll be someone like telling a story, and he'll be like listening as they walk and like, no, go back, say it again. No, use this word instead of this one. Like And like sometimes it's the feedback's just like, good word choice, but no one will know what it means, so choose a different one. And sometimes it's like, no, more flowery language. This is a big moment. You need to make them really feel it. And just kind of like going around like managing his performing troupe and just like, helping tweak some things and tune up as they keep going between performances.
Drusilla is walking beside Sue's ox.
Okay.
And just, give them little pets and like talking to them and tell them how good of a job they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where she is.
Okay.
During the travel, would you say Hannibal has like an hour just to keep to himself and do something?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Cool. I'm going to use that hour to use the right tool for the job and make a different set of tools. So my thieves tools go away.
What tools would you like to make?
I don't know. What would be a fun one?
Oh, right, because you become proficient in those tools,
yes,
right?
Yes, I do.
Ah, okay.
I want to spar with Sella.
I think I will do forgery kit.
Okay, so you manage to put together a forgery kit, all the sorts of little things necessary, like magnifying glass, station for like copying things over and matching exact handwriting, as well as like various waxes and things necessarily to make seals and mimic seals, as well as like things to other things to be able to like make molds and presses of important like seals and other things to then be able to like make copies so you can replicate them.
Indeed.
Okay. Eventually, as you're walking, you come into like that mid-afternoon part, and right about when Hannibal, as you're finishing this up, you note like that you come into a fork in the road, and there's a fairly good-sized path that leads off to your right that is smaller than the main thoroughfare, but is the path you need to take south in the direction of those woods, and the main road continues a little bit more north. And it looks like the caravan is heading along the northern road.
Halt for a moment, please. We have to get off here.
Sue holds up one giant hand, and like the whole caravan comes to a rolling stop. What's going on?
Our quarry lies in the opposite direction, so I think we unfortunately have to part ways for now, at least.
All right. Well, nice traveling with you. Good to meet you.
Nice traveling with you all as well.
Where did you say you were going again?
He kind of points ahead. He says, "Bakir's Landing is the big city on the border along this road. We're heading there first, and then there's a smaller town called Darba, further along. Maybe another couple days walk past that. End of our line before we turn around, head back, and do the whole route again."
All right. Well, safe travels. May our paths cross again.
Good to see you. Be good to see you again.
I'm gonna go to Sella.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, well, this is where we're leaving. Okay, you say goodbye.
Good.
Bye. It was really nice meeting you.
I certainly met you.
You certainly did. I hope we meet again, and if we do meet again, I really want to spar with you.
I do not spar. I only kill.
Sounds great. Can't wait. See you next time.
I'm going to approach Sue.
Okay.
And just kind of, can I talk to you very privately for just a moment?
Sure. Just lean it. I'm not getting down off this thing.
Excellent.
Bad. It's hard on my knees. What's up?
Should I find my adventures ending, would you all be interested in having someone with magical capabilities travel with you indefinitely?
Depends on the capabilities. Depends on the cost.
Does it cost enough food just for me and my pup? As far as the capabilities, I have them.
All right. Well, where are you? Where were you coming from? Where are you heading back to?
Most likely the university, the magical university empire.
Oh, yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back that way. Look you up at the university. Hannibal, you said, right?
Hannibal.
All right. Well, we're back in that way. We'll look you up at the university way.
All right. It's just more of a curiosity. This group seems very interesting, and if the adventuring life is not for me, I think this would do.
Well, my people aren't terribly interesting. I like to keep it that way. Boring is good for business.
Boring can be nice.
All right. Whatever works for you.
All right. If my magical capabilities improve, I can contact you. So.
All right.
It was nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you too.
And I heel turn and walk back to the group.
Okay. Cadence will come up to all of you, and he has a bottle in one hand, and he has like a lit torch in the other, but it's like a very small, like very, very, very narrow stick with just like a marshmallow-sized burning bit on the end. And he says, and he like kind of bows and like holds them out to both sides and says, I do so hope we meet again, and I always love speaking to adventuring types because you always have the best stories. So if we do meet again, I would love to hear some, especially whatever adventure you're heading off to now. Stories, or at least accompanying stories, is my specialty, and I believe I have your likeness down. And he takes a drink of the liquid, and then holds up the torch in front of his face and just breathes just like a jet of fire into the air. And then he quickly transfers the torch over to one hand, and like before the fire like flashes out, he like does some quick hand motions, and the fire like keeps burning in the air and then coalesces into 4 humanoid shapes that are like very rough but kind of recognizable as the 4 of you, and just like coalesce together into 4 people just like walking in a row, just like stationary in midair. And he says, I'll have that ready to accompany your story next time we meet.
Awesome.
Oh, that's so exciting.
That is fantastic.
And then he closes his hand and the fire just fades out.
Very cool.
Well, until we meet again.
Until then, safe travels.
You as well. Oh, well. Oh, isn't this nice?
It's nice meeting you.
You as well.
All right, Hannibal.
Yes.
Did whatever his name is, like, describe to you anything specifically that he's missing?
Magical components.
It was like the whole shipment.
The whole shipment.
He also said there was a ring specifically.
And the ring.
Can you make a likeness of the ring?
I cannot.
Can you describe it really, really well?
Not really.
Can I put the ring on if we find it?
No. It's Master Varo's.
The ring actually specifically was one where he said the one ring, that was the one that he said that he found it and identify spells have not worked on it so far. And he basically said the ring would be part of the reward for finding it because he needs someone to field test it. So actually, yes.
So sorry, I reword this. They've been trying to identify the ring, but they can't figure out what it does. And basically, if we return the shipment, the ring's a reward, so someone can field test it and see what it does.
But he didn't describe it to you at all?
Yes, it's a ring. You put it on your fingers.
It just like what it looks like.
I think it'll stand out.
That doesn't help, Hannibal.
Is anyone in our group particularly good at tracking? Catching
Drusilla.
prints?
If I could figure out what this ring looks like, I could take us right there.
But you think you would, if you're thinking of what, how?
I think our best bet is
I have magic, Hannibal. I don't know if you know that about me.
I know some things.
I think since we don't have an exact idea of the loot we're trying to search down, perhaps our best bet is simply trying to find the bandits.
That's what I'm thinking, and that's where my idea comes in. I disguise myself as a very rich, wealthy noble lost in the woods. As bait. And you all rush out when the bandits approach.
I'm gonna cast locate object.
Mm-hmm.
And a hope that knowing that the ring isn't identifiable is enough for me to be able to latch onto it instead of Sid's ring.
One of my many rings.
Don't think so.
Okay, so it does say you can also find the like nearest object of a particular kind. So I suppose if you described like unidentifiable magic ring, the spell would be able to locate that.
Sick.
Or where are you doing this like right after you've like parted ways, or you're still like not in the area yet, and it only has 1,000-foot radius.
Okay, then yeah, then I'll wait until we're like more in the area.
Okay.
But then I will do that.
Okay. So you're traveling along the road, just the four of you for a bit. Drusilla, you can see Willow, like now that you're not with the caravan anymore, you can see Willow like peeking out and like come up and like rub against your leg on occasion and like get scratches and stuff before like running off back into the woods. Like keeps coming like over the course of like walking for a while, like keeps coming and going and stuff.
He's content just in the back of the group. Oh, it's so happy.
Okay, and eventually, Hannibal, you would be able to identify based on some landmarks that you are within the search region, basically within the searchable area that the bandits probably are.
All right,
somewhere.
everybody, shh, quiet. This is the area.
Looking around, you can see just like woods around. Like it's kind of like a large, probably like half-mile long bend in the road through some woods. Hills come up to your left. Kind of slopes down to your right.
Spell off now.
Sorry, what?
I'll pop my spell off now.
Okay. You currently do not get anything within your 1,000-foot radius.
All right, it's not within 1,000 feet.
Great, so keep walking around the bend, I would assume.
Sid's keeping an eye out for footprints, wheel marks.
Okay.
Anything and everything.
I mean, you see a lot of that. The thing, you like on the main road itself, you see tons of footprints, wheel marks, everything.
Mm-hmm. Specifically looking towards the woods off the road.
Okay. As you're all walking, why don't you give me investigation checks from everybody to see how we do?
Uh-oh.
See what we can identify.
Give me that good.
Ha! Natural 1 plus 2.
Natural 1 as well.
That's an 8. I am not good
18
in
plus 1.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Carry this party.
Drusilla, everyone else is like, and just like walking along the road and like is having a hard time finding the road. Drusilla, on the other hand,
on my spell.
Yeah, that's true. Drusilla, on the other hand, one of the things you notice is, it's largely your knowledge of nature that does it, because you identify that like just kind of scanning the tree line a little bit further into the woods on the left at one point, you just kind of notice there's like almost like a dip, just like a gap in the tree, not too far, like 20 feet in from the tree line, but you notice there's like a gap in the trees, and it just doesn't quite make sense. Like there are gaps between trees, but it just like isn't a spot that looks like it's an interruption of the pattern. And getting closer, so and like something about that kind of like catches your attention.
Drusilla's just gonna walk right towards it.
Okay. Walking right over there, you notice pretty quickly, like you have to get through the initial tree line and like initial line of brush, but as you push your way through that, getting into the woods, Willow like comes running up next to you and is like looking around with you. But you notice a old, like moss-covered, looks like it's been here a while, wagon that's just like been run off the road into these trees. And so like it kind of knocked over a few smaller trees, like creating the weird dip up above, like in the canopy. It is pretty much completely empty and picked clean, and you can see like probably this wagon has been like pillaged and robbed at some point, but it was a while ago, and there's like nothing left at this point.
Is there any tracks leading away from the carriage that would suggest people have come from somewhere other than the road to the carriage?
Give me a survival check to search for tracks.
Come on, Willow. Let's do this. My luck run out. Natural 1 plus 6.
Oof.
Mm.
Yeah, so you're looking for a while, and like it just doesn't. Yeah, you're having a hard time identifying many tracks here. Really, like you're just like I just can't figure it out. It's been a while. Maybe it rained. I don't know. Just like I can't identify anything here.
Willow, do you see anything? Do you smell anything strange? Come on, Willow, carry the party. Carry the party.
Okay, the party will.
Carry the party, Willow.
Willow sniffs around and starts circling the caravan, and then like goes over and like starts like putting his front paws up on trees and like stretching up and sniffing straight up in the air, and like goes to another tree and like sniffs straight up in the air. Like he keeps doing that, but just looking really, really confused.
Drusilla's gonna follow to the trees that he's doing that to and look straight up.
Okay, you don't really see anything up there. And it doesn't necessarily look like the tree. Like he does it like on the wagon as well. Like he like on a rock too. It's just like he keeps like trying to get higher up, and like he keeps like looking straight up and then looking confused.
You want up? Up?
Hmm?
You up?
Can't really respond.
Drusilla is gonna climb one of the trees.
Oh yeah.
Are you gonna thorn whip Willow? You're gonna thorn whip Willow up into the
No,
tree?
I'm not gonna thorn whip Willow. No, that's only reserved for Hannibal when he scares her. And she's just gonna climb up until she sees.
Okay, you just climb up
It's a
pretty
sense of-
high. Yeah, you climb up pretty high into this tree, and like you don't really. Make me another investigation check from up here.
Please, God. Please, God. Hey, God. It's me, Drusilla. Please. Let's cock other dice. Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. That's a dirty 20.
Okay.
Ooh.
God has answered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as you're climbing, you're kind of climbing up, you get to like one of the like more inner branches, and you can see you see a like good sized bird's nest, probably like a hawk or something. But one of the materials like a couple of things you see making up the nest are like you look at it and it doesn't look right because it's like it looks like feathers, and it's like, okay, birds use feathers to make their own nests all the time, but like getting a look at it, it's like what's poking out and like the size of them. The feathers look like they're probably a couple, like 2 feet long.
Oh, okay. Is there currently any hawks nearby? Or anything that would own this nest?
You don't see it immediately around, you know.
I'm gonna try and take that 2-foot-long feather.
Okay, you have to like kind of pull at it and yank it out because it's like embedded and woven in. And but you can, you know enough about bird nests and things. You lived in the woods long enough. I love that I can use that as an excuse. You lived in the woods. You can do this. Yeah, you can like gently work it out and like pull it out. Yeah, it's like kind of been kinked and twisted and fit into or like the pattern of a bird's nest that's like about this big. But yeah, you pull it out and it's a fairly sizable feather.
Is it recognizable at all? Like, did this thing come off of a natural creature?
Given your knowledge of nature, you would say that like kind of a little bit of extrapolating, like what you've studied of animals, like though, especially being able to turn into them. The wingspan on something like this would be like have to be like, if you're thinking of a bird that would have feathers like this, like giant eagle sized. Possibly like somewhere in that realm.
Rock.
Smaller than that.
Cool. So Drusilla will climb down the tree and let Willow sniff the feather.
Okay.
It's like,
and then, yeah, you like yips at the feather and like kind of seems to be giving an affirmative. And like sniffs at the caravan, sniffs at that, and like sniffs back at the caravan, and like seems to be like a connection between those.
Okay. Drusilla's gonna hunt through her rations and see if she's got any dried meat in them. And
Yeah, probably.
Give Willow some. It's good boy.
Okay.
Good boy. And she's gonna go back to the group and just kind of hold the feather out. She's like, Willow found this with the broken wagon over there. It's quite unusual for it to be where it was. It's quite unusual.
Do you know what animal that belongs to?
I can't say I know exactly what it comes from, but it's big.
Would I maybe possibly know? Through study?
Potentially. Give me a nature check.
Okay. Big money, no whammies. Okay.
Oh yeah.
15.
Okay. You take the feather, you're looking at it. Size-wise, again, you get the impression of like, yeah, this could be like giant eagle is the first thing that comes to mind. But as you look closer at it and you're really investigating and taking a close-up look at it and kind of considering this, one of the things you look into is feather shape. And one of the things you notice is that it doesn't quite look like exactly the right shape that like it should be, kind of. And you can see, like, you can kind of see this in like the little like feathery like threads that make up a feather. You can see that like generally they have like a fairly even curve to them, and this one there's just slight differences around the outside of it, as if it's been like trimmed or groomed in some way. Like there's been an intentional like grooming to this, you would say, that is, based on what you could tell, not functional and possibly decorative. So whatever it was that owned this feather was also like seemed to have some sort of like intentional aesthetic grooming to it.
So I get the idea that this was probably like an accessory on some clothing rather than belonging to an actual animal.
No, it looks like it was, because based on like how,
or that
like,
it was just groomed, like the animal was possibly a pet.
That is one possibility.
Okay, I relay this information to the group.
So
They probably have some sort of large bird to keep lookout
That
to
makes
help,
sense.
similarly how Willow's been helping you.
And they might use this large bird to take out caravans.
I don't think it's that large. I think it's more a scout, if I had to make an assumption.
Interesting.
Well, my spell's gone, so
What time of day is it right now?
It's like late afternoon at this point.
Late afternoon? About like how
Mhm.
many hours until nightfall?
So you got like 3 hours till nightfall.
Okay.
Or 3 hours till nightfall. 3 hours till it starts getting dark. Probably 4 until it's like actually dark.
I'm gonna send Abacus up in the air for a moment, everybody. Just give me a second.
So you just send him up.
Yep. And
Are you gonna look through his eyes?
Yep.
Okay. All right. You send him up. How high do you send him?
100 feet.
It's like maximum height. So like you can see, like the vision starts to fade, and then you like bring him back down a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a perception check for Abacus.
Yes. That is what I'll do. My little sweet boy Abacus. Perception check for Abacus. And he's not using hearing, so it's just normal.
Mm-hmm.
18.
Okay. As Abacus is flying, looking up, if you're like from the direction you were heading, so I suppose on the northern side of the road, up in a bit more of the hilly section, further away, probably like half to 3/4 of a mile off the road. Abacus would spot some you would be able to spot through Abacus's eyes, some. It looks like just like a couple of birds, but you are able to like apply your depth perception and realize like, no, those are bigger. Those are bigger than birds. Those are some fairly large winged shapes, just like flying around up about 3/4 of a mile that way.
I see some big flying shapes up ahead.
It's hard to say how many because like they'll go like one or two. You'll see like one or two go up and then like be flying around and then go back down, and like maybe 3 will come back and then 1, and like it's just kind of it's hard to tell exactly how many.
I relay all that. Hopefully it's not griffins.
maybe they're harpies.
So
Herpes?
what?
Harpies. Oh, good idea, everyone. They could be harpies. Yes.
So, quick clarification for the feather.
Mm-hmm.
You said first guess is like a giant eagle of some kind. So is that the actual like coloring of the feather, that it has that sort of color scheme?
It wouldn't. So no, like size wise, like wingspan
Size-wise,
size
okay.
for about around that. It's like not a regular size bird. Like
Got you.
good size wingspan here.
Is it an oily feather?
No, it wouldn't be like a waterfowl type feather.
Is it greasy?
No.
Is there any lion fur on it?
No. Actually, Hannibal, you're like trying to get a sense of the composition of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me an alchemy supply, like give me an alchemy tools
Ooh, nice.
check.
So I just rolled a d20 on my proficiency bonus.
And your intelligence.
And my intelligence. So that's a total of 4 added on top.
You actually do notice a bit of residue on it. What'd you get?
What'd you roll?
8.
Okay, you notice a bit of residue on it, but like you try to like do a really quick field test, and you're like so excited that like you mess up the chemicals and like put it on there, and you're like, now we'll never know what that was.
Well, that is that. I thought I could figure it what it came from. Well, there's a nagging feeling in my brain, but I'm going to ignore it.
Okay.
Is this the kind of feather that could possibly belong to a kenku?
No, because kenku are not generally capable of flight.
Got you.
But an Arakakra, on the other hand, could potentially have a feather this size.
Mmm.
Well, Abacus, you can come back down now.
So we're just gonna go towards the swoopy fly things.
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess.
It seems like our best bet right now.
Yes, I recommend. How far away?
Half a mile, 3/4 of a mile from base one Hannibal can see.
I recommend sticking off the road and out of sight.
So it's like the road goes this way. It's like half mile, just like straight and north of the road, the east-west road.
Okay.
So it's like completely off the path.
I'm
Okay.
not great at staying out of sight. Do we want to use me as bait?
I would rather not use anyone as bait. But I do have something that will allow us to be a bit more stealthy. Is this what we're doing?
Yes, I think so.
I think it's our best bet.
Okay. Everyone stay close. And Drusilla's going to cast Pass Without Trace.
Okay, +10 to
Nice.
stealth checks for everybody.
Sick.
They'll
And she's
start
going to
sneaking.
tell Willow to hide.
Okay. So you'll start sneaking into the woods, heading north towards that, in that hilly direction.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Okay, let me get a stealth check.
This is gonna be great. I have +0 to stealth, so. But I
There you
have
go,
Plus
+10.
10 to stealth.
So that's an 8 + 10, so 18.
All
Big
right.
money, no whammies. Ooh, that's spicy. Nat 20 plus 15.
So 35.
I'm gone.
Y'all are not even sure where Sid is. Who is Sid? Did Sid ever really exist?
What is Sid?
What is it? I just like
22.
Okay.
Simpsons style, just
Just
slowly back up
vanishing.
into the tree line.
30.
I'm not very good at stealth. 30. Okay. So with Hannibal having the worst one with an 18, you all like just vanish into the woods. And with Drusilla's spell basically is like making it easier for you to hide. So it's basically like as you're walking, it's almost like a subtle wind is blowing through the forest around you, and like leaves and branches just kind of like part in front of you that you would have had to push out of the way and just like close up behind you. And then like up ahead, like branches just kind of sway and like cast shadows over you and like block out line of sight. That just generally makes it so way harder to see you from a good distance away. And you continue on like this for a while. And you start to hear almost these like loud bird call type sounds, but that you like are able to identify as like voices eventually as you get closer. And when you get to about that half a mile mark, you'll have to like stop as you see 3 shapes just swoop over like a clearing up ahead of you, and you can see 3 winged humanoids carrying javelins, flying like almost in a triangle formation. Just all 3 of them just glide down, pass over, and then keep going. Do not appear to see you.
How long would it have taken us to get here?
Not how long does Pass Without Trace last?
An hour. With
Less than an hour.
concentration.
Less than an hour.
Okay. So
You're
we
coming
still-
up on you're coming up on that hour as you get closer. But you are much closer now.
Where's those were they harpies or?
They appeared to be you see their humanoid body, bird head, feathered wings, and like taloned feet. Yep.
What
Some
would
bird
I
people.
know about Aarakocra?
People.
Yes, people. They are
Bird persons.
they're a sentient race of bird people. In fact, they like you saw some in the city of Pyre as well. I think
Okay.
some may have owned a shop at one point. So yeah, the main thing they have their own language. and that's probably what you heard them speaking in as they passed over you. But aside from that, you don't have too terribly much. They're not like, there's not a whole lot special about them other than like bird people. That kind of stands
Special
out.
things about everyone.
So those might be the bandits.
Probably safe to assume.
And they're just
Lovely.
flying overhead, or are they?
It looked like they were going somewhere. Like they didn't like they weren't like didn't look like they were searching. They just like were heading in a direction. It happened to pass over you.
So we go in the direction they were leaving from.
Or we go in the direction they're heading to.
They're heading like they passed like over you, like from forward to back. So it looks like they were heading towards the road.
So, but
So, where did it look like they were heading from?
More or less like the direction you're coming from, but slightly more to the left.
The left now, y'all.
Yeah, we're gonna head towards, unless anyone has any objections, where they were coming from.
yeah, my map says the bandits would be in this area. So
Yep. Okay. It will be so. You're coming up on the end of the Pass Without Trace spell. So, if you keep searching, the Pass Without Trace spell will end unless you want to figure out some way of more quickly identifying it, like pinpointing a location.
I'm not using my spell again.
Okay.
I'm only got
What?
one more second level spell slot, and I'm not using it for this.
Okay.
How close are we to night at this point?
You're like 2 hours from complete dark at this point, probably.
fuck it, everybody hide. Real quick, I have an idea. I will shout if something happens. I cast Disguise Self
Okay.
and take on the appearance of a very plump, pompous, rich noble, just adorned in like very expensive silks and gold coins and jewelry.
Okay.
Long brown
Hi.
hair, big bald spot on top, a
Mhm.
long greasy beard that's oiled and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hopefully this might lure bandits out. And I make sure this guys I look like I'm lost, like covered in dirt and
Okay.
scratched up.
But
Right.
before you walk away, I would just like to point out again that last time we did something like this, you got put in jail.
This is different.
I talked my way out of it.
This is different.
Me and Drew had to save you and Sid.
This is different.
It doesn't feel all that different.
It will be different because I'm not won't hesitate to kill things.
I should have.
Can't argue with that.
All right, everybody, I will lure them out. Hopefully, I'm gonna speak really loud, like, "Oh, I don't know where the road is. I lost my way. Hello, anyone out there? Can anyone point me in the right direction towards the city?"
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Gonna hide.
All right, so y'all
Hide.
hide. I'll let you keep your old stealth checks. Hannibal starts like loudly wandering around the woods. At some point, you hear just, and a different 3 Aarakocra come like flying over, and like you can see them circling overhead. And as they identify Hannibal, they come down and like land in 3 tree branches, all kind of on, just like surrounding him, about 30 feet up in the air.
Oh, hello.
And then they look down, and just like as you look up and notice them, a javelin just comes down and just like sticks into the ground right in front of your feet.
What was that for? That was so rude.
And one of them looks down at you and like kind of cocks his head to 2 sides and says, "Turn out your pockets so we don't have to search your body."
Oh, that's a good idea. Yes, let me do that. And I reach into my pockets. As I pull my hand out, firebolt at that one. Just
All right. And before we start initiative, that's where we're going to end
Yeah.
for the week.
Hey.
how's this?
All right. So
Call
we're going
an
to start off
ambulance,
next week.
But not for me.
With Hannibal's firebolt.
Yeah, we're going to start off next week with an attack roll and some initiative. And everyone else is close enough by that you can see and hear this.
Nice.
Yep.
What about Willow? Could Willow hide?
You told Willow to hide. You did tell Willow to hide.
Could Willow listen?
Probably.
Where's Willow
Okay.
hid?
So
Yeah.
thank you everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed this week. It was so nice being back.
Yes, it was.
Next week we will start off with some combat against some bandits.
Yay, we found them.
Yeah, you did. Arakakra bandits.
We did it.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I killed one.
All right. So, thank you very much again, everybody. I will be. I'm going to get some food and then go and start recording Demystifying DMing episode number 10 about too much player success, and then I will edit that and send it over to Garrett. Still.
Yes.
Okay, send that over to Garrett for posting, and then everyone else can finally listen to it. What I've been trying to put together for a while.
Woo.
All right. Thank you again, everybody. Thank you to our audience, and thank you to our lovely players for
Indeed.
joining us again, and everyone having patience as we figure stuff out and get back to playing. I'm so happy to be back.
Me too.
Let's keep this.
I missed you all.
Yeah. Let's keep this up and come back next week for some combat.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
And
All
also, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time tonight, the continuation of Descended to Avernus.
Yeah.
The party's walking into a cemetery.
All right.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah. Fuck.
Yeah.
It's fine. I have a cool backup.
I'm so excited. Yeah, so.
All right. With that, goodbye, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.